What if you could give back while you slept? Now, I know you're thinking, wait a minute, that doesn't make any sense at all. But let's break it down. Leesa. It's an innovative direct-to-consumer online mattress brand that is also socially conscious. They're driven by the mission to provide a better place to sleep for everybody. So for every 10 mattresses Leesa sells, they donate one to a shelter through their 110 program. Not to mention, Leesa also plants one tree for every mattress sold and donates 1% of each employee's time to volunteer for local causes. They have a 100% American-made mattress, and it's available online in the US, UK, Canada, and Germany, and it ships compressed in a box right to your door. Or in person, if you care to visit the Leesa Dream Gallery in New York City. Try a Leesa mattress in your own home for 100 nights risk-free with free shipping, always. And get $100 off when you go to leesa.com/bombcast. Once again, that's leesa.com/bombcast.
I feel so outclassed here. Everybody showed up with their preferred brand of energy.
Well, I mean, so did you.
I'm sitting here with a green... this is just basically...
Is it green tea?
This is basically grass clippings in a paper cup.
Fucking what are you doing, man?
Compared to the...
Whatever gets you going.
Compared to the artillery shells full of pure energy that you guys are rocking, which will remain nameless.
Yeah.
It's not about the brands. It's about the power that they bring.
It's about the taurine.
It's about the taurine. About the guarana.
Torqued on taurine.
It's about the dangerous levels of B6 and B12 that you can get from...
What does that do for you?
Gives you cancer, apparently, actually.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
There's energy pills that, like, there's been a bunch of stories over the last week of people going like, hey, look, don't... All this stuff that's, like, giving you, like, 9 trillion% of your B12. I'm like, maybe don't.
Maybe don't. Okay.
These actually don't. These have 100% of your B12.
Yikes.
This has 300%.
Well, all right!
You get 3 times the cancer.
Woo!
Your USRDA of cancer. That's okay.
I think these pills have been, like, over the, like, orders of magnitude beyond
1,000%.
It's not like 300%. It's like...
Don't some weirdo health nut types take, like, pure shots of vitamin B?
Totally, yeah.
That seems bad.
Well, you need the right kind B.
That's why these stories have been going around, because it's been like people going like, "Hey, this is a fun way to get to power up." And like,
let's power up something.
Maybe not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's Tuesday.
It is
the 29th.
Happy
29th.
Tuesday.
It's the Bombcast.
Yeah,
Hello.
It's the 29th Bombcast.
Yes,
we're finally getting it down.
Yeah,
I can't wait for episode 30.
Been going for a few months here.
Yeah.
Just
talking over each other a little less. We bought these microphones.
We're a little way past the 6-month mark on this podcast.
So we're not
now.
like talking just into your phone anymore.
Yeah.
This is like a serious big deal. It's not
no more
Skype. No bumper.
Yeah, it's not Skype. It's
now
not,
we're in the same room.
It's not this USB device with a bunch of Rock Band microphones plugged into it.
We got real XLR now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what that stands for, but it's fancy.
Extra large radio.
Recording.
Production grade.
Yeah.
What does XLR stand for, Jason?
Hell if I know.
What?
No, I don't know.
I thought you were the expert.
That's your one job, to know what all these things mean.
No, that's something that's like super not important. It's just
if you're applying for the open position at giantbomb.com,
let me know.
You should.
That's
if you don't know what XLR stands for, you're not getting the job because we desperately need someone.
Don't even bother.
Put it in your cover letter.
Don't waste our time if you can't.
Do not put it in your cover letter.
There is
whatever. I don't.
That's totally a joke.
Yeah,
as long as you know what to do with XLR, you probably don't need to know what it means.
Yeah,
there is a position open.
There is.
Yeah. What's up with that?
It's open finally. Yeah. So after Drew took off, that left a kind of a Drew-shaped hole.
Yes.
Here,
which is difficult to fill.
Yeah.
You gotta do a lot of P90 if you're gonna fit into that hole.
I tried. Yeah, but I am just one man. So yeah, we're hiring an associate video producer. That's going to be somebody that's going to be in charge of running quick looks, doing a lot of recordings and stuff.
Let Jason be your boss.
Yeah.
I
Good
can,
luck with that.
I've been helping out here and there, and,
Yes,
and Jason's been showing me the ropes. And hold on, Jason, can you take off your headphones for just a second?
Yeah, sure.
Guys, run. Okay, you can put it back on.
It's complicated. There's a lot
No, Jason's a great teacher.
There's
I
a lot of
really enjoy
moving
working
parts.
with him.
a lot of moving parts in that studio.
Yeah, there is.
Way more than you might think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely, like an entry level position, but that's probably. So we're a small group, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're a little guerrilla over
We
here.
run tight.
Mercenary.
We do things
We
a little
run
bit differently
lean.
than some of the.
You will touch a lot of different facets of production.
Yes.
It is not. You will not. It's not like the person who shows up to a shoot and just like wears headphones and holds a microphone and then goes, "No, that sounded bad. Do it again."
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It would be great to have so many people that we
Yeah.
had someone who could do that.
This is not yet a union shop.
No.
I was a boom mic operator for a couple like little short film projects.
Were you really?
Yeah, because
Oh,
I
wow.
had the
you
I
had
get
the
good
ability.
angles.
say
You
you've got
could
the-
make sure the boom did not get in the shot.
Yeah.
You've got the height advantage.
Yeah.
Nice.
It was fun.
But yeah, position is open right now. I would advise to.
What is it? You go to-
apply as soon as possible.
I don't even know.
Google CBSI jobs.
Google CBS Interactive Jobs and go wherever the fuck that sends you. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google that. Just look for video producer. You'll find something that says.
And
In San Francisco.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of filters. I don't know.
I don't know, but I'm guessing production experience required.
yeah,
This is not a green
kind of helpful.
learn on the job kind of thing.
Oh, you will certainly.
Well,
learn
you
a
will-
lot.
yes, but
There's
I mean-
stuff that we do that I think you can't necessarily reasonably expect anyone
sure,
to
sure.
quite have it
Yeah.
down our
totally.
way.
Yeah.
But
and like I said, we
some
run
ex-
things way differently than some of the other bigger sites. Because we are so small.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Not to say that experience in that would be a detriment by any means,
Yeah.
but you'd have to relearn some stuff.
Yeah.
I think.
But it's a plus
Yeah.
to know how to point a camera.
Yeah.
Yeah,
focus
absolutely.
white balance it.
Yeah.
That's the key.
Audio.
A lot of people can point a camera, but
Yeah.
to focus it
Yeah,
is
that's-
really just like
I'm
whole
super bad at
next
focusing
level.
cameras.
Yeah.
My eyes are shot.
Also, I'm pretty
terrible.
sure that my eye. Well, yeah, that's my eyes are shot.
Oh, we have those crazy cameras with the faux iPad strapped to the back of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That like show you the green sparkly focus.
Yep. Yeah.
stuff.
Focus highlight.
Yeah,
Uh,
magic shit.
Robots.
I can never get these cameras focused because this monitor is so bad, and the cameras themselves don't have screens on them, so it's.
Oh,
There's also that
crapshoot,
one
yeah.
up in the corner that you can't even reach. But one morning, Jason was running me through the Bombcast. Like, here's what,
Yeah.
he was just showing me just in case. Here's how to prep it and everything. And he's like, oh, yeah, this camera. And he gets up on a table
desk, yeah.
and just turns it
I
on.
had to climb up here and gotta reach up there.
Gotta do
I'm like, hey Ben, how are you with heights?
I said, bad.
Oh, great. Okay.
Yeah, it helps if you're into mountain climbing.
Yeah.
That's a plus.
That's why we're really missing Drew.
Yes. And yeah, totally.
Yeah.
You can tell that he built this studio. There's a bunch of stuff hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah.
What's new?
Oh man.
Hello, room.
Hello.
Hey,
Hey, Brad.
what's going on?
It's everything. It's been fucking crazy.
Yeah.
For me.
That's
It's so I'll just get into it. Yeah, I just fucking my wife's getting a biopsy this week.
Scary stuff.
On
Yikes.
her lymph node.
whoa.
That we're so that's what we know now. They will take a sample of it and they will come back and they will either say it's fine, or they will come back and say it's super not fine. And this is the knowledge gained through like they did ultrasounds and they all this other stuff, like weeks of like going and seeing people and saying like this is probably not a big deal, right? And everyone going like nah, it's fine. And then
You're in that informational limbo.
Totally.
Where you know enough to be frightened,
Yep.
but not enough to not be
Absolutely.
frightened.
And
Absolutely.
that makes it
Yeah.
so much worse.
Yep.
yeah, so it's
Ugh, that's rough.
Yeah, I just went through that with Lisa as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
they found something, and luckily it was benign. No
Right,
big deal.
yeah,
But
yeah.
that week-long wait.
and they did a thing
Not
to her
knowing
where
what the
they
hell's
did the
gonna happen.
ultrasound and looked at it and said like this lymph node in your armpit, it's inflamed.
Yeah, we should.
And the doctor was like, I could probably just take it right now. I could probably just poke in there right now. And it was like, oh, great. And then immediately the answer was like, no, totally cannot do it right now. You have to schedule an appointment and come back in several days. So that will happen. Then I'll get on a plane to PAX.
maybe.
And then, we should get the results beforehand.
Yeah.
And if the results are one way, I'm not going to PAX at all.
Right.
And if the results are the other way, then I'll go to PAX. And so it's been a fucking crazy chunk of time.
Fingers crossed you will go to PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would
If
be
you-
ideal.
If you see me at PAX,
Fingers crossed she's
Yeah.
okay.
if
That'd
you
be a
see me
good
at
sign.
PAX past Thursday or past Friday, then things are fine.
Things are all right.
If you don't see me at PAX, then shit is fucking bad.
Ugh, that's not good.
We're good.
Well,
We're fine.
Yeah. It's
It's gone down, like, hasn't it?
Yes,
keep
it
our
is.
fingers crossed.
It is shrunk in size. Like all the indications.
Yeah.
You line it up a certain way. You go like, this will be okay.
Yeah.
But you still don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just enough to go like, okay.
And it's terrible too because like there's so much information out there about every medical
Yeah.
thing,
Oh,
and so many
never-
people's
anytime-
opinions.
never
yeah.
Google a medical condition.
Yeah, that's
My
ever-
doctor, but when when they found a heart murmur in me, my doctor was like, "Hey, here's what I think is wrong with you. Don't Google it." He's very specific.
Yeah,
I
he
told him
said that.
He said, "Do not Google it." I Googled it, of course.
Yeah.
And I wish I hadn't because, every result is just people with their personal experience,
Yeah.
and it's never going to be one-to-one with your experience, but you can't help but just look at it and worry. And
Yeah. And you ended up having open heart surgery.
yeah,
from
it
that.
ended up being worse than he thought.
So
but
did you then go post something on the internet so that people could Google it later and go, whoa, fuck?
Tell the worst version of the story.
yeah, exactly. The headline was, if your doctor told you not to Google it, he's lying to you.
Here's what you need to know.
Yeah.
10 things you need to know about. Yeah.
Number 7 was mind-blowing. But
Yeah. So I have not played as much Mario
Yeah,
and Rabbids as I had planned to have played by this time.
I was
but
going to say, I was going to say, in moments like that, it becomes difficult genuinely to care about video games.
Sure,
frankly,
yeah.
I can identify.
but at the same time, there is definitely like real value in video games and their ability to fucking take your mind off shit.
If
fill some fucking time.
if they can be a valid distraction, then they are a good distraction.
Yes.
Yeah.
Assuming they can actually capture your attention for that long.
Yeah.
then they could be good for that.
So good news for Mario and Rabbids. It's really good. It was good enough to do that. It is a fun XCOM style game. I think part of me wishes it was a little more complicated, or that it had more genuine dice rolls for things like, or took more factors into consideration when calculating whether you were going to hit a shot or not. Because it's Mario, it's the Rabbids. They made an XCOM style turn-based strategy game, and
I don't want to get into like the nitty gritty, but you said there's no real die rolls. Is there like a
there's
set
only-
amount of
there's one
damage that you're
case.
doing?
It's there's a damage range, so that is
Okay.
a little random. It can crit. You
Okay.
can equip weapons that will have certain special effects that will then have a percentage chance to proc, basically, whether
Okay.
it's like, oh, they're stuck in place, or oh, they got bounced away, or whatever it is. But in terms of like the raw, did you hit yes or no? If you are in range for your weapon and they are not in cover, you will hit them.
Okay.
It just says 100%. If they are behind full cover, or you don't have line of sight or something like that, it is 0%. If they are in half cover, where you were kind of like, where they're like behind a low wall or something like that, it is 50%.
Okay.
So
Do you
that is
think
the only
that
case
like
where
adds to like more hits and maybe ultimately more fun, or
it's a very
I like the way you
different.
think. More hits means more fun.
Yeah, more hits means yes. It's a very different experience because you have a lot of different things, especially as you kind of take the characters down the tech tree. You have a lot of different special abilities you can enable and stuff like that, to where the planning of your turn and how you spend your different actions is way more about like, how can I do the most possible damage to this like front line of enemies or the most dangerous enemy before I even give them a chance to act.
okay.
So if you can slide tackle an enemy. So if you if you highlight them on the map and they're within your movement range, you can slide tackle, hit them, and then still move anywhere in your movement range.
That sounds so cool.
And
then
then
sometimes
fire
you can
afterwards.
run to a pipe that'll transport
Yes.
you somewhere else.
And then there's then when you come out of a pipe, you have a certain number of spaces you can move. So you could move out and slide tackle somebody.
Does everybody have a slide tackle?
Yes, and some people can upgrade to slide tackle 2 people per move or something like that. So you kind of have different actions. You can shoot and then move, or move then shoot. You can, Luigi has an ability that'll increase everyone's movement range if that's something you want to do. So you can kind of,
Luigi just naturally makes everyone want to move the fuck away
it's
from
called
him.
it's called itchy feet.
is that why he can jump so high?
Yeah.
He's got really itchy feet.
Yeah.
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you ever get used to Mario shooting a gun?
Yeah, it's super quickly. You just become like, you know.
Is it even-
It's a Mega Buster.
I was gonna say, is it even a gun?
It's like Mega
a,
Man cosplay
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah, okay.
It's like a silly cartoon gun.
Yeah, but
Right?
there are definitely like. So both Mario and Luigi have abilities that are like Overwatch and XCOM. They're like, you know, like at the end of a turn, you'll put them into that mode.
Put Mario in Overwatch.
And then if they see anyone move, and this can happen mid-turn, so there are a lot of layers to it. And if you get it right, and the game puts a premium on this, if you get it right, you're finishing these fights fucking fast, or faster than it might initially seem.
It almost sounds like you could like optimize your way through fights.
Totally.
Or like there is an ideal way
It
to.
feels like there's a right answer.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know,
really?
In a lot of cases, it feels like almost like a puzzle game in that sense, more so than what we think of as like an XCOM style strategy of just like, the dice rolls didn't go my way and I got fucked.
where like if you
Yeah.
if you play quote unquote right
Yeah.
or perfectly, like you're just gonna win every time, right?
Yes.
Like I'm sitting here asking myself if that's actually a bad thing because like,
It's
just
different.
yeah, like
you
think,
know?
think about how many times in an XCOM match
Yeah.
you feel like you're just getting fucked.
But at the
You
same
had
time-
like 3 bad dice rolls in a row.
Yeah,
and-
but at the same time, they took all the fucking excitement
Yeah,
out
so
of
that-
like
that's my
they
question.
They took the gamble out
so
of
that's
it
my question. Does this end up feeling like kind of boring by comparison?
a little bit.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of like
or
spontaneity?
less exciting.
Yeah,
less
it's
exciting.
less spontaneous.
Okay.
But you know, you do have your special effects. But like usually, if I'm setting up like a stack of attacks, so like the Overwatch ability, just you know, like I said, normally that'll be like, oh, you turned it over to the enemy turn, and as soon as they start moving, as soon as they get exposed, you get this fucking grim-faced Mario's going like just slow motion, just fucking smoking these rabbits.
Yep.
Or Luigi with a fucking sniper fucking rifle suction gun that looks like a pig.
This is great.
Yeah,
This is great.
Just fucking giving grim Luigi face.
Fuck yeah.
And then apparently dabbing. I don't know. Luigi's a fucking
Yeah.
I saw some gifs.
Got a lot of that sent to me.
yeah. And so it's a weird mix of and the language is not language you would expect to see in a Mario game. Like it's a rabbit, you know, like they're saying hell. They're like they said the H word in this game.
in the game,
Hell
but
is
not like
canonical in the Mario universe.
Apparently, 'cause
not
this is-
uttered from Mario's
No,
mustache.
Mario, and in some ways that's like, again, anytime you bump Mario up against characters that speak full sentences, it's just it brings up a lot of questions. You know, you're
It's kind of a
left to
dumbass.
wonder what the hell's going on.
What do you think happens in Mario Hell?
I can tell you, I've seen the
stump
Super
you.
Mario Maker levels that are definitely.
Who is the Mario Devil?
It's probably Waluigi.
Kamek.
Yeah,
Okay.
like who's the biggest?
Shy
piece of
Guys
shit
are definitely
in
from
the-
hell.
Yeah,
Is it
I could
Fanto?
definitely- Oh,
man.
Maybe it's
yeah.
Fanto.
Fanto is an agent of Satan.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll grant you that, and the Angry Sun probably as well.
Yeah.
Or is the Angry Sun
Maybe
like a
Mario
righteous,
2
like,
just
trying to-
takes place in hell.
yeah, maybe,
We solved that.
maybe. But so it's that Overwatch, that ability can happen in the middle of a turn as well. So you have a lot of cases of like, which order do I want to do everything in to really get the most out of this? Because if I do, let's say I do all my Luigi stuff and then leave him in Overwatch, what Steely Stare, I think it's called.
That's pretty good.
Yes, it plays right into Luigi's fucking true darkness. And then I take a shot with Rabid Peach that happens to crit, and she's got a weapon that has bounce on it.
I love how casually you toss off the phrase "rabid peach."
And so bounce will cause an enemy to bounce up in the air, and while it's out of cover, Luigi will go, "Oh fuck this!"
Oh, nice.
And then slow motion
wow.
go, "Fuck this!"
Man, that's cool.
and
sounds
hit them in
awesome.
the air, and then they'll take even more damage and bounce out of the way. So, you know, you have a lot of things to consider. And initially, the game doesn't expose this. Like the first world is like you don't even unlock the tech tree, I think, until most of the way through the first world. So on its surface, when you first start playing it, you're like, this is too simple. This is like fun and cute, and I really like the way it looks. And it's fun to see the rabbits and their crazy fucking underpants obsession.
Yeah.
Like in the Mushroom Kingdom being weird. But when you get to the second world, or when you get a little bit deeper in and kind of start to spec into the characters and you know, there aren't
shows
really
another
choices
layer.
to make
Yeah.
per se. It's more like, you know, hey, do you want all the abilities or not? Like, yeah, you want all the abilities. And you don't have to invest in one character over another. They all get the same number of points. So, you know, your team will always be kind of around the same level of skill.
That's
anyway.
nice. Okay.
The weapon's a different story.
How many characters do you get?
It's 8. It's the 4 characters and the rabid versions of the 4 characters.
Okay.
Who's the-
And then
who's
how big is your
is
team?
Toad-
the fourth? Toad one
No,
of the
it's
fourth?
Yoshi.
Oh, Yoshi.
Okay.
okay.
Which I have not unlocked yet, but that's those are the 4 amiibo the game supports.
Rabid Yoshi is.
Are those the actual?
Not-
Yeah.
Are those the actual names? Rabid Peach, Rabid
it shows
Mario.
up as Rabid Peach and Rabid
So
Luigi.
weird.
Those are the only 2 I have right now. I'm just about.
They're foaming
I
at the
think
mouth.
I'm at the point in the game right now where I'm at the mid boss of the second world, so I'm just about to get Rabid Mario. No, I'm sorry. I just got Rabid Mario.
Are they cosplaying? Like, what's the backstory?
So
These
the
rabbits
whole
that-
story to the game is that some kid invented some pair of goggles that can merge things together, and the Rabbids steal it. And
course
then
they do.
it gets fused to one of the Rabbids' faces,
Oh, no.
and he looks at a Mario poster. Like, the kid is a big Nintendo fan. He's got a bunch of posters and shit up in his room.
Kid Rayman.
The kid is definitely Rayman. No, I'm sorry, Raymond. Sorry, I mispronounced it. And everybody loves him. And we got 5 days until he shows up. And so, yeah. So the Rabbid wearing the fucking goggles goes bananas and merges all types of shit together. Opens a big portal. They all get sucked into the Mushroom Kingdom. All these Rabbids. And so you as Mario, and you as this Roomba.
Right.
Who is the actual thing you control?
The protagonist of the
the
game.
protagonist of the game is a Roomba that got sucked into this world as well. That is the character that does most of the speaking. It's all text.
Is there a Rabid Roomba?
No, I don't. No, not that I've seen. At least, I mean, maybe
They
that would
missed
be
out.
a
Yeah.
really great twist.
That's the late game reveal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the little disc. If you saw some of the footage from E3 or saw it at E3, like you actually move a little disc
What
around
is
the
it? It's
environment.
basically a cursor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. And but also it does the speaking and it receives email from some mysterious
course.
benefactor who says,
Huh.
"Hey, you're doing really good. Here's the ability to jump twice."
This
Wahaha.
game sounds bizarre.
It really is. It like seeing this alternate take on the Mario stuff.
Yeah.
That kind of peppers in this Rabid stuff. So it's like, here's the Mushroom Kingdom, but there's a giant toilet in the moat out front.
Okay.
And a fucking Goomba is
All
stuck.
right.
And like there's early on you see a Goomba stuck on a jet blasting out of a toilet, just kind of freaking out. And then you can stop and get a little bit of extra dialogue on some of these things, and it'll zoom
good.
in on it.
Good.
And it'll just say, well, I think the line there is, well, on the upside, his backside is really clean. Which is like a fucking insane concept in the Mario universe to be talking about bidets.
Yeah.
But here we are.
Goomba ass.
Goomba
in my
ass.
Mario game.
Is the writing pretty good?
It's
like,
fine.
Okay.
It's
it seems
not
very rabbidy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. The writing is okay.
Okay, because in some of the, like, for instance, like the Mario and Luigi RPG games,
Yeah.
like the writing is
Oh, yeah.
arguably
Yeah,
the best thing in those
it's not,
games.
It's not like that.
Not that
It's
sharp.
It's serviceable. I think the thing I end up like the thing that has the most character is just some of the animations of the characters that don't really speak. Because like I said, most of the dialogue is coming from like Princess Peach and this fucking Roomba. And then Rabid Peach. It's the body language of Rabid Peach taking a bunch of selfies with the big enemy of the first world, which there's video of it out there, but I won't get into it. It's a fun reveal. Taking selfies with this big boss getting fucked up in the background.
Wait, Big Boss is there?
Yes, Big Boss is there.
Rabid Big Boss?
Rabid Big Boss.
Okay.
And
Finally.
the boss.
That is finally the mashup.
And Big Boss Man.
Mashup
Also,
I've been
the
waiting
whole thing.
for.
Yeah. Cobb County, Georgia.
Please somebody Photoshop a Rabid Big Boss Man before the end of this podcast.
Oh man, that'd be.
I will use it as a
That's the
podcast.
crossover game. I would. Yeah.
Now, okay, finally, we're
Okay.
harnessing the power of doing this thing live.
That's right. If
I
you
will,
can-
if you could Photoshop Big Boss Man as a rabbit, I will use it as podcast art.
Make sure it's rectangular and
Yeah,
aspect
16 by
ratio.
9.
and I will credit you in the show notes.
That's right. Our promise to you.
640 by 360, please.
Have you died in it?
No.
Okay.
I had one fight go bad to the point where I restarted so it's super generous. You can restart a fight at any time. So the worlds are broken up into individual chapters, and chapters become sequences of fights. So there might be like 3 encounters in a chapter, and your goal with each one is to make it through with all 3 of your characters alive at the end under a certain number of turns. And if you beat the turn count and come out with everyone alive, it considers that perfect. If you go over the turn count, it might just say good, or I assume if you fucking suck, it'll come out and be like, you fucking suck. And at the end of each block, basically, and so you don't necessarily refill your hit points at the end of every encounter within that chapter. So it becomes about, like, over the course of these 3 fights, managing your abilities and managing yourself to make sure you can get through to the end and get perfects on all of these fights.
Okay.
Because at the end, you get a large coin bonus. And the coins are what you use to buy weapons. So weapons end up being the, when you get to the next world, it'll unlock another set of weapons that do more damage, that have a higher percentage chance to crit. Like, in some cases, they might even be longer range. Like, that's one of the stats it tracks.
Sounds like because there is a bigger payoff the better you play, that they were very knowing about making it so predictable.
Yeah,
taking that XCOM randomness element
right.
out.
I mean, they definitely play into it. But
very
also, like
intentional.
if you do end up in a situation where it's a bad dice roll or whatever, you can restart that individual fight at any time. You don't have to restart the whole block of fights.
Yeah.
And so it's really generous on that front.
Yeah. Okay.
So getting perfects on this, if that's something you want to do, is totally attainable. And then you'll occasionally. But the thing is, I guess the weakest point of the game, I'd say, is that between fights, the stuff you do is pretty underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
You're just kind of walking around this world, and there's some light puzzle solving here and there, block pushing, and find a way to hit the button, then get these 8 red coins, and then a chest will appear. And
that's actually more than I expected. I just figured it was going to be.
It's not just
battles.
boom, boom, boom. It's you walking around the world between battles, and.
Does it add a bunch of flavor? Like a bunch
That's
of
where you
NPCs
see like
to
the
talk
Goomba
to?
with the
Right.
water up its ass. It's
The
the bidet Goomba.
Finally.
Yeah. But you unlock a bunch of artwork and soundtrack stuff there as well for if you want to see that stuff in a museum mode.
High res Rabid Peach.
Yeah.
That can zoom
Probably.
in on.
Yeah.
High-res Goomba
3D
ass.
model.
Not since the Smash Brothers trophy viewer have we
Right.
gotten access
Such
to
a
this.
high-res Goomba. And then, outside of that kind of story, there's a co-op mode, which I have not tried, but you can,
neat.
local
Local
co-op.
local
co-op, yeah. If you
Somebody controls the Roomba.
I don't know what that would, if you end up with like 2 teams of 3, or if you just like take turns with which characters you got.
Wait, it's just co-op?
It's just co-op.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
not a competitive.
Not
that
competitive.
Seems like a head-to-head thing would have been kind of cool with this.
Yeah, it seems like it could have been, but and they're doing a season pass also. They're going to add more co-op stuff and some more single-player challenge stuff if you buy that. But I don't.
I just assume
So far, that
literally
doesn't seem like something I would want.
I just assume literally every video game has a season pass tied to it now.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, Zelda had one. So if you want to we're there.
Yep.
It's a very likable game.
Yeah,
There are
cool.
some elements of it that I wish. I don't know. The more I think about it, I really go back and forth on the hit ratio stuff, because there are cases where visibly, like, I'm on high ground, they're at low cover. There is nothing. This should be a 100% shot by the way this game treats its other kind of no hit rules. But since they're behind cover, it's 50% no matter what. When you have the high ground, you do get bonus damage. So
Not
there
to
is
hit. Okay.
yeah, but not to hit. And so on one hand, it's nice because I think about the number of times you just get fucked by random numbers in the XCOM games, and how that's just heartbreaking.
You'll miss a 98%
yeah,
shot.
and that stuff's crazy. But also the other end of that, of like, I'm gonna fucking gamble. I'm gonna roll the dice. I'm gonna take this 23% shot and hope for the best. And when you get that feels great. So this game, it's like the fucking SSRI version of it. Like, the highs are not as high, the lows are not as low as XCOM. They've just found a good middle ground. Like, it's nice, it's relaxing. You can also blow up cover. Like, all the cover are like big Mario blocks. So if you put enough rounds into something they're hiding behind, eventually you'll expose them completely. But
it sounds like you can do so much with your turns anyway that might not be worth it.
It can be, depending on which enemy you're facing. There's other stuff like. You can't, like, okay, so Luigi and Rabbid Peach have this like auto home in like tank that they send off. You target an enemy and it goes off in the direction of that enemy. And
what do you mean they have it like they both have to use it together, or
no,
each have one?
They each have one. Everyone has a secondary weapon. Like, Mario's got a hammer.
Okay.
This isn't like a large size tank. It's like a little
No, it's a little
RC.
tiny little RC car looking thing, and it automatically goes off in the direction of that enemy. If it can get there right there, it'll blow up. Otherwise, it stops and is like a little landmine. So if any enemy walks into the range of it, it will blow up.
Cool.
But then next turn, it will continue in the direction of that enemy. So you have to target an enemy to use that thing at all. You can't just say, I want you to go to this spot and act as a landmine.
Oh.
You can't say, hey, this enemy is not within range of my gun. It's all the way on the other end of the map, but I want to start you moving in that direction. Go. You can't.
They have to be in range.
They have to be in range. So I can't target cover unless an enemy is behind it. And I have it only hits it if I have a 0% shot. So there's cases where I wish I could just kind of attack any square, to tactically remove cover before they even get there or something like that. There have been a couple of cases where I wish that was something. So it feels like oversimplified in some ways.
No, I totally get it.
But it's a very likable game. I've had a really good time with it so far. The music's fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Is a Grant Kirkhope joint.
Yeah.
So it sounds
There we
like,
go.
okay, what if you had something that sounded a lot like Viva Pinata, but also had a lot of hints of Nintendo's own music mixed in?
I would
Alright.
say I might go buy a Switch soon.
Yeah.
If you were to tell me that, actually.
That's pretty much what this game sounds like. Like it's kind of riffing on a lot of classic Mario themes, Donkey Kong themes, like stuff.
Okay.
That is like very relevant and cool.
Yeah.
But then it also has this very fucking relaxed, chill, fucking Viva Pinata vibe a lot of the time.
Chill XCOM sounds like something that I would be totally fine with. Most of those games, most games of that nature are pretty hardcore.
It's really
like
neat.
the opposite.
I think that there's definitely a little bit of, like I said, I think there's a little bit of room for it to be a little more robust in some of your options, but you have a lot of abilities and stuff. Like there's a lot to do in the fights. So
Cool.
my other recommendation I think I would say to people is don't blast through it, because because it is so puzzle solving in a lot of cases. There's a real feeling of like I blasted through most of the entire first world in one sitting, and by the end of it I was like kind of bored. It was just like this feeling of I was kind of burned out on it.
Are you saying like just play it in small
play it in
bursts?
small spurts.
Okay.
Take a break.
Okay.
Come back to it.
Put that thing to sleep.
Yeah, put that thing to sleep. And so I think it might actually be a really good portable game. I also think it maybe, I haven't played it as a portable game enough, but I want to say it runs slightly better undocked. There have been a couple of spots where it's like, this is slightly framey, but it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Cool.
It's a nice game.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds neat.
Mhm.
Jason
Hi.
and Ben.
Yeah.
Huh?
Do you guys want to talk about Absolver?
I would love to.
I played some Absolver this morning.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Let me get your take on it.
Do you have a deck?
It's
Did you build a deck?
It's martial arts Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Like what?
Yeah.
That is not what I thought that game was going to be at all. But that's kind of totally what it is.
Definitely, there's shades of Dark Souls. There's shades of Journey with like the multiplayer.
Yeah, it's not just Dark Souls. Like that's a pretty reductive way to look at it, but like the tone of it, the way the storytelling works, the leveling up system,
Sure.
They've described it as an action RPG.
Yeah, it is. It's got loot. But like the feel of the world, the fact that like there's storytelling and item descriptions, like
It's very quiet.
It's very quiet and,
Okay.
and doesn't explain a lot. Like it very much feels like one of those games.
But then it's also a fighting game.
Like actually, I would almost say the combat system is way more complicated and technical than I don't play a lot of fighting.
It's really heady.
I
Like
can't,
you know,
it is.
I mean,
dude, it
in-
is crazy complex.
In games like this, you know, you've got a pretty limited moveset. If you want to compare it to like a Dark Souls or something like that, you know, you've got a few different attacks that you can do.
Yeah, I would say that like the one place it's like very different from a Dark Souls is the combat.
Right, and
engine.
and in this,
is insane.
there's so many options available to you.
Yeah.
And I know I've talked about it before.
Yeah.
But you know, it's all kind of stance based.
Yeah.
And your stances, you know, you're facing one of four directions. And
Right.
It's like
your moveset.
front and to the left.
Yeah.
Before you even
front to
get
the
that far,
right.
like when you create a character, they ask you to pick one of 3 schools.
Yeah.
Is that right? Or disciplines?
Yeah, we'll touch on that real quick.
Can you
So-
ever change those, or are you stuck with
you
that?
can actually,
Okay.
yeah, much later on,
Okay.
I think. So when it starts out, there's 3 different schools. There's one that's kind of like a tank. Like your special ability is, you'll absorb like
Yeah,
one
it
hit.
dictates what special ability you have, and also which of your stats, or like which. Basically, get a bonus to specific types of moves based on if they're strength or
Like your-
dexterity.
yeah,
or
like
There's
your-
mobility.
one that's like well-rounded. There's
Yeah,
one that's more
yeah,
strength, and there's
yeah.
one that's more dex.
Yes,
Right.
yes,
yeah.
that's it, yes.
Yeah. And your combat deck will reflect that as well.
So is deck separate from that choice at the beginning, or is that the deck?
That is kind of the deck.
Okay.
That is the
Kind of,
things you can
but-
choose from.
Because then I got into the game, and there's also barehanded. There is war gloves. There is sword. Like
War gloves.
yeah, war gloves pretty good.
Yeah,
This
and
is
those
just
things you can
spiked.
actually.
Is it just like Kazuya fucking
Seriously.
spiked
Yeah, they are
boxing gloves?
literally just gloves with
and
with
once you get
blades
the
on them and
ability,
stuff.
so that sword stance, you can pick up like sticks or whatever off the ground, but once you get the ability, you can summon it. You know how you get like the shockwave ability, right away. one of the abilities is to summon either the war gloves or like a sword.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Are there different? Are there different of each of those things? Like,
Yeah.
there are different, because I just got a set of war gloves, but I don't know if that was the only set you get. Or...
I think with the war gloves, those are the only ones that I found.
Okay.
But I found
I've
different
only found
types
one.
of swords for sure.
But yeah, like, so the crazy part is that even within all of those choices that you've just made, then you have different stances based
Yep.
on which way you're facing, and you can edit combos within each stance.
Yeah. Did you guys play Remember Me at all?
Yeah.
Like, they had kind of
Yeah.
like a build a combo system. This is a little like that,
but way
better.
crazier.
way better.
God Hand have
Yeah.
a system like this?
Yes, you chose the moves that you could do, and sometimes they would combo into each other, and you can also
Okay.
choose the stuff in your roulette wheel.
Yeah, yeah.
So you have like a list of combos, and you can pick from a bunch of different moves as to which ones combo into what. But then you've also got attacks that change which way you're facing, and each of the 4 ways you can face has a whole different set of combos attached to it.
Yeah. If you like throw like a right hook in real life, you're kind
Mm-hmm.
of facing, forward left at the end of it. So you'll
Yeah,
have a
so-
different set of moves.
Yeah,
depending on
the
where
4
you're facing.
stances.
Right.
The 4 stances
Yeah.
are the 4
Okay.
diagonals, and yeah, you can edit moves into your combos that will change you from one stance to another. So it's like I could be front right, and I'm going to put a kick at the end of the combo on front right that will transition me into front left, which has this whole other set of combos in it. Like, it's crazy.
And you can do all sorts of stuff like feint your attacks.
Yeah,
And
yeah, you can
like,
cancel out of
you
attacks
can-
with the block button, but it makes it look like you're going to do the attack. So
Is this thing
you're
accessible at all to people
Like,
that
it's-
that?
They hold your hand. A
They,
little
they,
bit.
they explain it reasonably well.
Yeah.
I mean, I dove
but
in
a
sight
lot-
unseen, and I'm drawn to those kinds of games.
Yeah.
But I loved it from as soon as I kind of basically understood what was going on. Even later with Jason kind of explaining stuff to me, I sat in the deck creator for a good hour just trying out different stuff.
Yeah, so as long as you're not in combat, you can go into meditation, which is basically just you in this kind of white fugue plane where that's where you edit your combos, and then you can actually practice and try everything out on a dummy.
I feel like whenever games have that level of customization, my initial reaction is like, "Oh fuck yeah!"
Yeah,
and then in practice, I'm like,
It's intimidating.
I'm kind of with you. I'm sort of in that same
you
spot.
get like half an hour in, and you're just like, it's
super-
like editing AI and Fire. Like
Yeah.
you can edit wrestler AI in Fire Pro.
Yeah.
And some people get way into that stuff and can make realistic to a certain wrestler behavior. But who has the time?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that stuff. Like I really
you're playing
respect
against-
the amount of depth in this thing, but it's
Yeah,
it's almost overwhelming.
I can see that if you're only playing against AI, you'll
Right.
find one optimal combo or something like that, and you'll just kind of do that.
But
So it's
playing
like-
against a person,
that's when the fighting game stuff comes into play, because there are so many different types of parries and stuff, and feints, as he said before. It really gets you thinking about your type of attack string and watching what they do. That's when it gets really, really challenging. Like if I came up against somebody and they were whopping my ass with this 1-3-hit combo, I would think about that and say, okay, I'd go back into Deck Builder and I'd try and build a combo or something that would counteract that. So it's really, really heady that way.
Yeah.
But I could totally see people getting frustrated with this.
Or it's just
they're
a lot to
coming
keep
in.
track of. Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to really want to
Right.
You kind
dive
of
in.
you gotta work
that's
for
what
it.
I think I want to know. Is like
You gotta work for it a little
like
bit.
how much of that is like you definitely need to get into this deep, and how much of the game could you still enjoy if you were like, I love the way this looks and plays, but I don't.
I've been playing it primarily offline, so you can go in and change the settings,
I didn't know you
so
could do
people
that.
can't invade you or whatever.
So that's one place where it's I guess more journey-like than Dark Souls. 'Cause Dark Souls, it makes a huge deal out of one person invading you.
Right.
It's like a big deal when one person shows up in your game. And I got to the first area of this game, and immediately there's a little scroll, like a log almost of just joins and quits and stuff like that. And 3 people joined my game immediately as soon as I stepped into the first area. There are real players just all over.
But
the
they're
place.
not inherently enemies.
Yeah, they're not
You
invading.
can team up with them. So you have a wheel that has emotes, and then also stuff like initiate combat or initiate co-op, and you can kind of prompt the other person to do that.
So
that's where it's a little journey.
It almost feels more MMO-ish than a Dark Souls because
on a really small scale.
Yeah, not a huge scale, but you do see other people running around pretty frequently and just kind of doing whatever.
So does that mean that the areas, I envisioned this game as like a point A to point B sort of thing, where everyone will be heading in the same? Because if a player connects to your game, they're just going to be heading in the same direction.
So you get out of the tutorial area and you find a dude in this, you immediately hit this little temple with this giant stone slab, and there's a guy standing right there, just going here are all the people people you need to kill to become an absolver, go for it.
And they're
like,
scattered throughout
okay.
the world.
And the slab has like a bunch of these little like mystical lights on it, and he's just straight up like, all these lights represent the people you need to kill.
Okay,
Go.
so you are kind of backtracking, or you're making your way through a world.
Yeah,
you
could-
might cross paths
yes,
with someone
yes.
going opposite directions.
I don't know if there is specifically a first area and a second area, because you can kind of just branch out from that temple when you get there.
Yeah.
So
The one other thing that's really cool about this game that we haven't mentioned is so you say you fight against somebody and they use a specific move on you and you beat them, you gain a little bit of meter in that move, and
Right.
eventually you can incorporate that
that's
move
right.
into your combat.
yeah, they
deck.
tell you
Super
that. Yeah,
cool,
like,
yeah.
and I didn't know what that was. So yeah, you're like, when you ask if it explains itself well, like not across the board.
Yeah.
That's something that doesn't really.
They tell you
explain, but
eventually, like an hour or two into the game, I met an NPC who explained
just
what that
randomly
meant.
out in the world, right?
Yeah, so like as
you
you're
can
fighting
miss 'em.
people, like from right off the bat, you'll be taking hits, and you'll see these little icons of different like moves popping up next to you. And yeah, eventually they tell you like, yeah, if an enemy uses a move on you that you don't know, you'll start to learn it.
That's cool. I like
Yeah.
that. I've always
really cool
liked.
idea.
And if you counter the move effectively, if you use like the right
Your
parry
ability
or whatever,
to,
you
yeah.
actually learn it faster. Like
Yeah.
it's
Oh, nice.
super,
So,
it's
so
super
I,
cool.
I re-rolled actually because I found out that you can you can start grinding like early on in the game. So you've got your specific combat deck, but you're missing a bunch of moves. So some of those early enemies will teach you stuff that you really want to know.
Oh, if you
So-
just kind of spar with them, you'll start learning
yeah, you
moves
just,
off
just
of
hold
them.
block, and
Yeah.
you just wait for their the 3-hit combo, and then whatever the last hit is, that's when you would dodge or use your ability
Yeah.
or whatever, and you after 3 or 4 of those, like you learn
Yeah.
the fucking thing.
And,
It's
you're
great.
you're racking up like a Souls equivalent, just
Yeah.
like a Dark Souls, and you spend those on like strength, endurance. Like it literally has stamina
Yeah.
that you burn by blocking and dodging
Yeah.
and attacking. It's
And there's
that
loot
whole
that you
thing.
find out in the world.
Yeah,
too,
there's
as
a bunch
far
of
as, like,
loot.
equipment.
I kept having stuff like appear in my inventory that I didn't pick up, and I don't know where it was coming from.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to pick it up. So there's random drops from enemies, and then
Or
there's
maybe
also
some
stuff
stuff was-
that's placed in the world.
Maybe some stuff
so-
was dropping from enemies. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. Yeah, 'cause same button to attack
Yeah.
sometimes is.
I like that type of system in games. The thing you use, you will get better
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's Golf does that.
Oh,
Also out today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Did you play some of that?
I got through the character creator and then got to a point where it said, "Now play 9 holes of golf," and I was like, "I don't have this. I don't have it in me right now." I bought it last night, thinking like, "Yeah, golf will be the thing I need right now."
Yeah.
And yeah, I got the character creator is very nice.
Yeah.
We played a little bit of that,
Yeah,
that beta.
we played
so
that beta
I
on
really only
PS.
saw that same stuff
Like
that,
it
that you saw.
seemed like golf.
There's a lot. I mean, because it
for
is kind of like
everybody?
a very online focused. Like it feels like they're trying to get players to connect up a lot more frequently and play together in tournaments or compete against each other at random and stuff. And the structure of it seems enticing in a way that franchise hasn't for a while. So that's kind of cool.
Okay. Yeah, Absolver's neat.
Yeah. No, I want to
that
check that
game-
out.
yeah,
Is
I
it
gotta
is
play
it
more of
on
it.
just on PC or where?
No,
is
it's PC, PS4, and Xbox.
Okay. All right.
Was it on Xbox too?
Oh wait, I don't know. I don't know if it's on Xbox.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
PS4 and,
Yeah.
and Steam for sure.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I'm in love with it. One that we didn't mention actually is once you you did say something about the 6 people that you have to kill. After that, you ascend to the tower, and after that, the game opens up.
is that not the end of the game?
No.
Because the thing that I was literally about to
I don't
say
think
just now
so.
was it seems like a short game because I beat the
might
first
be.
boss out of like half a dozen this morning.
But like
and-
after that, you can create your own school.
Oh, wow.
And become like a mentor to people, or seek out other. Because when I played it at E3, they had stances in there like drunken master, and that's definitely different than the 3
Like the
things-
starting
the
choices.
starting ones.
is there more game after that though? Once you
I'm
get to
not
the top
entirely
tower,
sure.
or-
Like I haven't gotten there.
Like I
yet,
wonder if
so-
they intend for people to just like get really good at it and just fight each other after they've finished the game.
Yeah, I
It seems
wonder.
like
Just walk the earth and fuck people up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if that
That's
has
a
long
cool
enough
idea.
life, they could add in, some post-release support,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
new bosses and stuff like that, and maybe even new schools.
It seems so technical with like potentially such a high skill ceiling that you could almost see it being an esporty kind of thing. I don't know.
I don't know if it's
They're
like,
just- they're
The,
so
the
many-
structural stuff
yeah,
you're talking about doesn't
yeah,
sound like it would
right.
lend it. They'd have to create like
you
here's
would
an
need
arena.
like you would
or
need like an
something, right?
arena type setting to play
I could
that
see
in.
it be very interesting to watch people
That's what
who
I-
are really
that's-
good, like
that's
just
what I
play
mean.
it.
That's what I mean. Like just 2 people squaring off in a vacuum, like none of the story stuff around it. Like they're there's so many different feints and dodges and parries and counters that like you could just kind of see people just going at it.
Yeah, and it gets super tense. Like even against AI, it's like if
Yeah.
they throw something, I block it,
Yeah.
and then I counterattack, and they block that, and I'm
Yeah.
like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Is the
It
control
feels really good.
relatively simple, or is there like high
Pretty
execution? Or,
simple.
okay.
It's pretty simple.
You have a light and a heavy. You have two different.
It's not a light and a
main
heavy. It's a
attacks.
so the combos are actually all just on one button.
Okay.
And then
Well,
the,
two.
Well, but that's the thing. The other attack button is they call it an alternative move, and that's the move that switches stances.
No, not necessarily.
Yeah, sure. The tooltip said every time you use it, it switches your stance.
Not necessarily. Well, no, not necessarily.
Is that only in the default stack, and then as you start changing
I
it,
don't
maybe
know.
that changes?
I don't know.
Or
That's
what's that?
Either way, yeah. Some of the
Yeah.
main attacks on X or whatever will change your stances as well. So it's constantly flowing. It'll show you. So when you're selecting the move, it'll show you like from which stance, and then
Yeah, that's
it'll
in
show you
the-
which stance it's in afterwards.
Right.
So you basically, you have two attack buttons. You can lock on and change targets with the bumpers. You got a dodge on your right stick, and that's pretty much it for like the active controls.
You can switch stances manually.
yeah,
but you
and
have to
then
like
you can-
hold right trigger and flick the stick to
okay.
do it,
Yeah.
which
And
is
that's actually important.
a little
to-
unwieldy.
a little bit. Yeah.
And you also
It
use
takes
the,
some getting used to.
you
for
also
sure.
use the stick to parry. Like you use the right stick, you like push the right stick in the direction they are attacking from to parry, which I haven't quite gotten the hang
Yeah,
of.
depending on which school. Yeah, so you chose the one that has parry.
Oh, that's
there's
right.
one
Yeah,
that
that's
has
just for that
dodge
one.
on that
Yeah,
right
yeah, that's
stick,
right.
and then there's one that has like the armor.
It's like a focus attack in
Yeah.
Street Fighter 4.
Kind of,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's super dense. Like it seems like it's going to really appeal to a specific type of person.
Yeah.
got an
It
uppercut
sounds
last-
really cool.
I got an uppercut last night that has armor on it. It's fucking great,
Huh.
and it's from like a
certain
main
moves have
attack.
properties.
Yeah, so it's like you kind of spin in, and then you do like this uppercut, like almost like a shoryuken, but you don't leave the ground, and it's got one hit of armor, so you can just blow through anything that they're
wow.
throwing through,
That's cool.
and then continue your combo. It's
I really like that
it's so
high
cool.
kick that like they put their leg just straight up in the air
Yep.
and then
Straight down
axe kick
vertical
down.
attacks.
It's-
See,
Yeah, and there's
now
some
that
like
you just
normal
go-
attacks that have like parries built into it, and or sometimes armor.
The gear is very Dark Soulsy in that none of it is just explicitly better than what you had. Like it's all got downsides. You know,
Yeah.
like the heavier it is, the like the more it weighs on your mobility, so
Right.
you're doing less damage
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Now they just need to take it one step further and give you control of the limbs in the builder and go like, I want his foot to go up here and then over to the side like this, and then just
They're
go
just
on
using the fighter
maker at that
engine.
point. Yeah.
But this game's only $30 too.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, there's a lot in there for $30. Like it's pretty.
It's a super cool idea,
Pretty cool.
and I think they did it.
yeah, it's really cool.
I really want to play some more of it.
Mm. Windjammers is out.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
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 Did you try that?
Yeah, I did. It's good. The online works. I can't speak for everyone because I feel like that's something where some people in different network situations might have a different experience, but I've had matches in that game that felt perfectly fine.
Wow. Okay.
And you know they're online. You know,
Sure.
it's you feel a little bit, but it's absolutely playable.
Was that pre-release or post?
This post.
Wow.
Not a ton of
Okay.
people playing.
Yeah.
I played like 5 ranked matches, and which is not the default option. But I was trying to search for unranked matches and found no people. But in ranked, I found a couple of people. You can like revenge match people in ranked or even in unranked.
Cool.
And so I got some matches, and they all felt good. It's not BU. It's S Miller. It's not the.
Do we actually know why that's such a thing?
It was
Is that just a region thing? or-
Yeah, it's a dip switch thing on the original
Okay.
cabinet where if you're
Okay.
set to Japan, it's S Miller. If you're set to anywhere else, it's
Oh,
BU.
Interesting. Huh.
Uh,
Same stats, like same.
Yeah,
character?
same character model, all this
Yeah,
other stuff.
just different
It's like-
nationality.
yeah, and maybe
Weird.
different voice samples. I
Weird.
don't remember for sure. There's some weird stuff with the music in that game. Like the things they did around the edges of it, it's not a pure authentic emulation of the
Yeah, it's
original
not
game.
just a ROM, right?
Yeah, you don't boot it up and put quarters in it. You know, you don't insert
Yeah.
fake quarters to
Yeah.
play or anything like that. It's all they've built new menus, they've built a new character select, all this other stuff that then drops you into the game. So sometimes dropping into the game, like the music will glitch out and sound weird, or at the end of a match, the music will speed up in a. Yeah, there's some things around the edges of it that are a little rough in ways that maybe don't matter so much because you can play the Windjammers on the internet.
Yeah, sure. When they brought it by a few months ago, didn't they like rebuild it from the ground up? Like, didn't they recode everything about it?
No,
Or
it's
did they plug in parts of the existing game.
I think
and-
they are
okay.
they are emulating
Okay.
large parts of it
Okay.
for sure. But yeah, it's they've taken the mini games and broken them out onto their own menu if you want to play them separately, which is fun once. And yeah, it's fun. You need other people to play this. Like playing as the AI is fun. Is not fun. It's either way too easy or way too hard, depending on which difficulty you choose.
Yeah.
There's no like good sweet spot for that stuff. And local, I'm sure it would be perfectly fine. We played it locally.
Yeah.
I don't think that stuff has changed much since we had them in the office. They
Yeah.
did say that since their beta, they have rebuilt or they have made changes to the netcode since the beta.
Okay.
And I thought the beta ran relatively well as well. So if it's better than that, then that's cool. It shows your ping on screen, so you can kind of see like, oh, I'm getting a 50. I'm getting a 150. It's just like they're just showing the number.
Yeah, that's a
and-
low number.
I can't win
Yeah.
jam with anything less than a 95
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
or anything
well,
more than a 95.
Okay. Well,
glad to know you have standards.
there's no
Self-respect.
there is no option in the search for like only match me with people of a certain ping.
Hmm.
It's just you're either searching or you're not.
Really? No filters? on
No,
that?
no
Oh.
filters.
It probably like puts you with people if they're available, but
Sure.
hopefully,
You would expect.
yes,
Yeah.
people with low ping.
Yeah. But like I said, I was, and it just came out today. So this was an hour after it was released, and I was looking for unranked matches and I found like one person.
I feel like that one's going to be more word of mouthy than
I hope so.
Or like groups of friends buy it and play it with each other.
Yeah.
There's you can private match and invite
Yeah.
people. There's no lobby. There's no like get 8 people together and watch. Like
Yeah,
it's
that's a
it's
shame.
pretty no frills.
Yeah.
They did add in the ranked mode. They've added like tiers to the leagues and stuff. So you start out at wood and gain points and go up in rank and stuff. And all the stuff. So they had people create a login and password to sign up for the beta on their website, and that is still like it still shows my status as authenticated in the game. So it seems like they will do some kind of out of game leaderboard stuff, or I don't know what the fuck their plan is.
This
with
is
that.
this is dot emu.
Yeah.
Emu.
.mu. I don't
Emu.
know. Yeah. And yeah, it seems like a good version of that game. I feel like I can recommend it.
Yeah.
If you're playing locally, and if you're playing online, it's certainly capable of being good. But I don't know enough about your home internet connection to say for sure. So
Even so, that fucking Windjammers, like,
it's
playing
crazy.
it on-
It's
so
yeah.
weird.
it's cross buy with the
Here it
Vita.
is.
Oh wow.
I don't know if it
Nice.
cross play with the Vita or not.
Mm.
You'd think it would be, but
Yeah.
Who has Vita?
We're gonna try to
I don't know. That's-
put that thing through
I have
proper
no Vita.
paces
Yeah.
this week
I'm gonna play some of that.
in the only way we know how,
That's right. Yeah.
by going nationwide.
That's right. I will say I won more than I lost playing ranked games, and that
Okay.
felt pretty
yeah.
good. I'm starting my climb to the absolute middle of the Windjammers Mountain.
So that's going to be really weird because we would always, it was fun to play in the office, but it was largely for goofs.
Yeah.
But now that you're in a ranked scenario and getting serious about a record, do you play Windjammers differently? Do you
No,
have- do-
I always play Windjammers super seriously.
okay,
Like,
that's fine, that's fair.
It's just fun regardless.
Well, I guess what I mean is,
Um,
like, do you have a main? Like, do you have a
Yeah,
specific?
it's BU, but he's
Okay.
not in the game, so
Yeah.
I have to play S. Miller.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
which some people say he is not, like a bad choice because he is fast but not heavy. So
I
if
like
you
the
have
heavy
if you have a
guys.
super that knocks people back, the light characters will get knocked into the goal
yeah.
more frequently.
Yeah.
Is it
and
like
that's bad.
Miller,
Yeah.
George Miller,
S.
S. Miller? That's
yeah.
Scott, who I was.
Scott Miller.
That's right.
And which is weird because there's someone special thanked in the credits named Scott Miller, and I have to assume that
the
maybe they
Apogee
made
fame?
Oh no, probably not.
Surely not.
Who's the mocap guy?
Data East thanked him in '94. No, and I wonder if maybe they put that guy into the game in certain regions because it was someone they knew. I don't know.
see.
I wonder.
Huh.
The story, the oral history of Windjammers, we'll have to wait.
If you're listening out there, Scott Miller, please
yeah,
let us know.
we'd like to know, or BU if you're out there, emulator author BU. No, maybe. Whoa. Yeah, Windjammers is good. Windjammers is still good.
So I'm told.
And then they ran that Call of Duty beta. That's the last thing
yeah.
I played. That's probably worth talking about.
Seemed like it's all people talking like this is maybe better than they expected.
I think
don't know.
I think it really depends on what you're looking for out of a Call of Duty game. It feels like a very no frills Call of Duty experience. I feel like it has kind of less. Well, it has about as much to it in terms of like character creation and options at your disposal. It feels kind of in line with Call of Duty 4. Like it's
interesting.
It feels like when you're creating a character, you kind of have fewer. Like the options are more top level. Like you pick a division, whether you want to be in the army or the airborne or the demolition squad or whatever the 5 choices are, and those you rank up your division and get unlocks that way. So like if you're the airborne, the first unlock is, or no, I'm sorry, if you are the infantry and you level up the infantry division, you can then take a 3rd attachment on your primary weapon, which is something that like. It's all stuff largely stuff they've done in previous games. So what I'm saying is they have taken a lot of the same options and found a new way to serve them to people and a new way to create a class that still gets you a lot of that same stuff. Like you choose, it's like a ribbon you choose that is, instead of like a perk loadout of choosing 3 perks or 6 perks with wild cards or whatever you want to do, it's more rigid. It's more like, okay, if you pick this like package or this ribbon, then you can carry a rocket launcher instead of a pistol. If you pick this ribbon, you can take 2 primary weapons instead of a primary and a secondary. If you take this ribbon, then you run faster and reload faster. So it's not about like pure just choose 3 perks, perk 1, perk 2, perk 3. It's more about that specific thing. And then your 2 weapons, attachments for those weapons, and your division, which, again, as that levels up, that'll confer things that are like perk-like in nature too.
Are it divisions where they build in that FMV stuff?
Yes.
I saw
Yes.
just enough of that stream you guys did to
Yes.
see some
That is-
potentially goofy-looking FMV.
It's pretty, yeah.
Is it good?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
It's good.
All right.
But then in game, like if you're the infantry and you get a bayonet on your weapon, which means you can do a bayonet charge. So if you hold down, which Battlefield did that, I think, this last time, you can get an extra boost of run with the bayonet out. And I think you probably get longer range on your melees also.
Is that just like an instant melee kill if you run into somebody?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, but it's not an infinite run.
Okay.
It seemed unwieldy when I was trying it out.
A little bit. I got a couple of kills with it over the weekend, and it's fine. But it's not, the distance on it isn't super long either. So
No.
anyone that knows what they're doing is going to see you running and go, "Fuck you! What the that?" and shoot you. But yeah, I don't know. I get the complaints that Call of Duty went too far future for some people, and I think the mobility of the stuff they did last year was not fun to use in multiplayer. But going back to a game that has none of that stuff and also feels like slightly less customizable in terms of how I'm building my loadout, I don't think this is what I'm looking for out of Call of Duty.
Did you play any more of War?
No. I played some domination, some team deathmatch and stuff. And
So that's like the new big. It's new, right? New to Call of Duty?
they've had a mode called War before in Call of Duty.
Was it like this?
Is that the objective mode?
Yeah, so it's
Okay.
objective based.
But I want to say like the difference between War now and War then is I feel like War then was like
War has
War has
changed.
yeah,
changed.
War has changed. Back then it was like just 5 points you had to capture. So it was like stand there and capture them and move forward, and it was like a push back and forth, I think.
So that was Battlefield, basically.
Yeah.
This one you're like
This one is like,
build a bridge
or if you're on the defending team, stop them from building the
Okay.
bridge.
and then
So it's
blow
like-
up an ammo truck.
So it's more like UT Assault,
Yeah.
like specific,
Yes.
like map-based objectives.
Yes,
Okay.
definitely.
Run up to this point, hold X to hit a hammer against a bridge.
Yeah, which is hilarious.
And then it gets built or not.
The bridge just appears in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
While
And-
you get sniped over and over.
Yeah, and then the Axis is standing in positions on the other side of the bridge, shooting you down as you try. Yeah. It seems totally competent, and I feel like the remaster of Call of Duty 4 was popular, and that game is not crazy in the way Call of Duty got either, and it still plays well. But I think I would actually probably rather play the Call of Duty 4 remaster than this. Because it feels like I have more options, or it feels like I am in more control over the type of loadout I take in that game. Even in that game, before they went crazy with all the pick 10 loadout stuff and all the wild shit you could do down the line. It feels stripped down. And it's interesting because you see all the stuff around the game where they're telling you to pre-order it and all that, and all of it is focused on the campaign. It's all like, we can't wait for you to see
Huh.
this blockbuster campaign we've made, which they always promote the campaign.
Yeah.
And I feel like I've really liked the last few campaigns they've done. The Infinite Warfare, last year's game, was one of the best campaigns they've done.
Yeah.
It was just because it was a good departure. It was beautiful. There's just some fun, weird shit in there.
Yeah.
And so I'm confident that Sledgehammer can make a great campaign because the Advanced Warfare campaign was cool. It had a lot of Kevin Spacey in it.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
That was a good campaign.
But that's not. I feel like the people that are like voicing their displeasure with Call of Duty are not. What they're like, they don't care about the campaign.
Oh yeah, those are the people that don't even launch it.
Right.
Right.
And or maybe they do and they play through it and it's like, but it's not why they play the game for a full year.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So
I mean, haven't they been out there saying in the past that maybe it wasn't them, maybe it was like Respawn or somebody who was talking about how kind of shocking the stats were around the multiplayer campaign split?
Yeah, the developers have said it over a lot over the years. But I think when they had to justify Titanfall 1 not having a campaign,
right,
they did it on the back of we know the data of how many people played the previous campaigns our people used to make.
I mean, you could always look
and
at
then Titanfall 2 came out and they put a campaign in.
It kicked ass.
Yeah,
you can always
great fucking campaign.
You can always look at like trophy rarities to get a sense of how often people finish games. But I always got the sense that with these multiplayer shooters in particular, that split was like especially egregious.
That's always the impression I've got as well. Like Call of Duty has always been a 3-pillar game, right? Their campaign, competitive multiplayer, and then a co-op thing, which is now just zombies every year, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I played some Advanced Warfare over the weekend as well because I still have it installed.
Yeah.
Still people playing it.
Nice.
Still super fucking fun.
Yeah.
Also, I'm way better at it because I went like 10-4 after not playing that game for months and was more like 4-10 playing new Call of Duties.
That was a good game. Like that one, they kind of struck the right balance of mobility, but not making it super insane.
Yeah.
Right? Like you had some abilities, but it was pretty limited.
It was just a straight up fucking boost vertical jump.
Right.
That you could like the games after it were more like squirt boost, kind of hard to stay in the air. Whereas Advanced Warfare is more like psh, you are up there, landing on a ledge and fucking going.
I really don't like the phrase squirt boost.
Yeah, a little squirt boost.
I do not like
a little squirt of boost. Just
not a bit.
Just keep going. No,
nope.
All right,
not a fan.
But it also had the sideways dodge boost
stuff
in Advanced Warfare that I thought was a lot of fun.
But like that one didn't have wall runs, right?
No,
right. Like
no, Infinite Warfare had wall runs, but I that was where they had a lot of stuff that you could kind of compare to Titanfall, and Titanfall does wall running so much better.
Yeah.
Or it's just so much more fun because it happens at a different scale. Like wall running on these smaller Call of Duty maps just didn't work out.
I wonder if that was their calculation. It was just like looking at what Respawn's doing and just being like, all right, fine, they can have crazy mobility. We're going to do... we're going to take it back to the basics.
Well, if you look at like the reaction to last year's game, there was a growing contingent of players. You go back to that trailer that got downvoted or whatever, and they reacted, and they reacted maybe ahead of that a little bit to where I think they saw where things were going. And some people, I think, claim that like, oh, well, they saw Battlefield 1 and decided they were going to do it too. But like these decisions get made a little earlier than that. This is a game that's been in development for
3 years.
3 years,
and like it takes a little bit more than YouTube reactions to change the huge machine that is a video Activision.
But they've heard it louder and louder every year. I think from this contingent of fans that as they've pushed further into the future and further into this mobility stuff, I think there's been a growing number of people that claim that they want it to be more rooted in something real and grounded. And
also, like you just at a certain point you can't go further without it becoming full sci-fi, without it becoming Titanfall.
Last year's game literally had fucking space battles in fucking space jets in the campaign and stuff. Like
that's about as far as you can go before
exactly. Mass Effect. Right. Which So I think that they had to do something to rein it back in. This multiplayer feels like they are going too far in that direction for my taste. I'll be curious to see how people react to it. Or how I haven't seen what people have been saying about the beta, if they like it or not. I haven't looked at all, but
this didn't have any of that headquarters stuff in there, right? That
no, the big social space stuff.
Social space.
No, but I want to say that they said that if you watch people open crates, that you will get something for it.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Like there's some kind of like because you can be in the headquarters thing. I maybe watching. Is it watching on Twitch? I want to say it was more like in the big social space.
I'm not sure.
Will players physically be opening their premium boxes in front of you, and if you watch them, you might get something too? I don't know what I don't know
You have
what
to
that
reach in
thing's
the crate first.
Right? Yeah,
and
you
snatch it
fucking
from them.
stab him in the back of the head and hope no one's watching. And I don't know what that space is going to do for the game.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting, but I'm there to play Call of Duty.
Yeah, I hope it's not like we thought you should load into this map to go change your loadouts or something like that. Like
Well, the beta doesn't have
I guess,
that, so
yeah,
the beta's got menus.
There is a way to do that stuff
It's
already.
all kind of set up in a similar way to how it has been.
Was that thing just one weekend?
It's another week. It's this weekend or
Is it?
it's next. It's the first through the fourth, I think.
Okay. So
They're
it's
turning
down
it back
right
on.
now and then back
Yes.
for the weekend again.
Yeah. And it, I think it looks really nice, and there's definitely stuff about it.
Sounded
where,
great.
like you see the money, you see the Call of Duty in that thing.
M1 Garand sounds.
Yeah, they worked the ping into the level up noise.
Okay.
So they fucking know what game they're making.
All right.
Fuck, man.
Sure.
But yeah, I don't know. I guess I came out of that weekend more interested in the campaign than I had been previously because the multiplayer is not.
All right.
I don't know.
I guess they know what they're doing.
Not grabbing me, but
Yeah.
we'll see. It's not the first time that I've been not in line with what Call of Duty fans want out of a Call of Duty game because apparently they fucking like the zombies mode. So whatever. But yeah, we'll see.
Spec Ops was pretty good.
Spec Ops was a great mode. Now that was a fucking mode.
I would
Imagine
play
if they
some
made a
Spec
lot
Ops.
more of that.
Man,
Oh,
World War II seems like a great setting for some Spec Ops missions.
fuck, man. I bet a lot of shit happened that you might need 2 people instead of 1. Wouldn't that be fun?
Or even 3.
But maybe they should just do co-op campaign.
Yeah.
Are they doing something? Anyway.
Yeah. All right.
It's easy to lose track.
Yeah. Well, get one more weekend Call of Duty in before Destiny comes out. Next week.
Right.
Which is
Wow.
insane to think about.
That I heard that PC beta runs real nice.
Yes. Yeah. I played it at E3, but there were probably 2 1080s in the machine that I played it on. But yeah,
A lot of reports
I've seen a
people.
lot of people saying they're very happy with the way that PC beta runs.
It's too bad
That's
it's
exciting.
so much after the.
Yeah, what is it? 2 months?
It's October
Is it
24th.
really?
Or
Yeah,
something,
that's
so it's
just under 2 months after the
Whoa.
console
Yeah.
release.
I was
so
thinking like 2 weeks or something.
no, like you were going to take a hit if you decide to wait.
And
Yeah.
because of the business end of this shit, like it will have fewer things
Yeah,
in it than
yeah.
the PlayStation 4
Like
version.
I have to play it on PS4 because it's Destiny. You have to play it where all the content is.
Yeah, well, if you think about Destiny 1 being so starved for content.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like in a game A that only has like say 5 strikes or 4 strikes, and B is built around the idea of running strikes over and over.
Yeah.
Every extra strike counts.
Have they said what the final strike count for this game is, though? Like maybe it'll be okay.
I think they have, and I think it's comparable, or maybe just a little
Because
more.
aren't there people throwing around numbers like, oh, there's 30 to 50 hours of story content in this game?
I don't know.
I feel
That's
like
a good
that
question.
there's like there are claims out there about the story stuff.
I would
saying that there's
believe it.
kind of a lot.
I would believe it, but I would also believe that they're talking about like, oh, there's all these missions to do in the open world
Right.
now. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that stuff counts as story.
right.
If like
Yeah.
the quest giver gives you a little bit of flavor text when you pick the thing up, and then you have to go kill 20 fallen
Yeah.
and pick up shards.
I am excited to play that game.
Yes,
I
I am.
hope that it is good. Well, whatever. The beta was like, it's good Destiny.
It looks very promising.
but I hope it's more than just good Destiny.
Yeah.
Good Destiny will be nice. It will be okay.
Yeah.
But my hope is that it is more than that.
Super optimistic.
But I don't know that I'd say I'm super optimistic. I
Yeah.
hope it's more. than that.
They got out there more after that reveal event that you went to.
Yeah.
Showing off like stuff you do out in the world and just making that seem like a more dynamic
Okay,
experience.
they talked about that
Yeah.
stuff there, but didn't really
They've
show
shown
too much
they've,
of it.
They've
Okay.
started talking more specifically.
Good.
Like there are quest givers out in a zone.
Yeah, yeah.
You can just pick up missions while you're there and go do stuff and
All right.
a bunch more stuff of that nature. So I'm excited.
Hey, Brad.
Hi.
I played some games.
Yeah, what have you played? Besides Absolver.
I played the hot new release Path of Exile.
Yeah.
Remember that game?
Oh, yeah.
Matt,
we
Matt
played
Rory's
some of it,
Matt Rory's Path of Exile.
Yeah. So I had
Dude
no
loves Path
idea
of Exile.
what that game was
Yeah.
or anything about it before Rory played some of it on UPF last week. And I mean, I don't want to talk a ton about it because it's been out since 2013, which I
Yeah.
didn't realize. But I like it. It's a good while I watch TV game.
Okay.
And-
Diablo alternative.
Yeah, so it's plays a lot like Diablo 2
And it's
from what I've heard.
It's free to play now.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just did a huge update in early August that I guess added. It's like the biggest update they've ever done. They added a bunch of content. They reworked a bunch of the early campaign stuff based on like fan feedback.
And is that an update for consoles as well, or is it new to console? Because I've been getting a ton of emails going like,
I think it's
Xbox
just
One, Path of
released on
Exile.
Xbox
Okay,
One.
that's what it is. Okay.
Yeah, the only stuff you pay for is like cosmetics. But yeah, no, it seems super well designed. It seems like it's made by hardcore Diablo fans. I like the current. There's like no gold in the game. The currency is kind of based on like scrolls of knowledge, which identify items, or like transmutation orbs and stuff like that can all be traded around for different weapons and armor. And the customization options are insane. It's the most. It's honestly probably the most deep skill tree I've
That
ever seen.
Thing is.
It's massive.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Rory had to zoom out on the mouse wheel like
Whoa.
4 times just to
Wow.
get the whole scope of it.
Jeez.
It's like a fucking sphere grid. Like what?
It's like it is kind of like a sphere grid, but bigger.
Fuck.
It's in a way it's cool. It's because it's like kind of a different side, like the opposite of Dota in a way, where there's like in Dota there's 100 and whatever characters that can be spec'd out a couple different ways each. This game has 6 characters that can be spec'd in a ton of different ways each. So you
You
got
can like respend points like kind of on the fly. I don't know if it costs anything.
you
but
like gain
you can
you like every couple levels you get a
respec.
respec point, which you can use to take an old slot back and
Okay.
rebuild your tree. But, there's like
And I'm sure
Barbarian,
being a free to
which
play game, you can probably buy a bunch of those too.
I
right?
I bet I haven't looked too much into the monetization stuff. But yeah, so far seems really solid. I'm kind of using like a beginner's guide to go along with it, which I recommend. It's like, hey, these are some safe builds. Like if you want to experiment, of course, do it, but take these as kind of your like, these will help get you through your game the first time. Which I've had recommended to me by people who were more familiar with the game. And then of course, like if you want to go through and make hardcore runs and stuff, you can use like optimized guides and stuff like that. But it's pretty fun.
Cool.
But then I started checking out Songbringer.
Yeah.
Which was not even on my radar
Yeah.
until you sent me a code for
Yeah.
it
I
yesterday.
never heard of it until the PR reached out and they were like, "Hey, we got codes for this."
It's really cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's basically Zelda, NES Zelda.
Yeah.
You crash land on a planet. You've got like a little robot buddy that floats around and kind of acts with you. It's pixel art. The main character kind of reminds me of McPixel.
Okay.
That style,
Great.
but a little more fleshed out. You know, it's not a phone game. So the art is very pixely like that, but the way it's animated and the effects and just the backgrounds and stuff like that is all very well done. It's very like it moves very smoothly.
Pixel art plus effects that would not be possible in pixel art is
Yeah.
becoming an aesthetic that I'm like really into.
Yeah,
When it's done well.
Nidhogg 2 does some of that
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
really well.
totally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's nothing revolutionary in terms of art, but the game is beautiful. So you're kind of on a grid map, and it fills in as you
screen based like a
Yep.
Zelda, like it kind of
and it'll do a thing where like as you move into another screen, is sometimes your character will it'll zoom out as you move on to the next thing, so your character will become smaller and the square will become bigger, like the area, but it's
Okay.
still just a square.
Okay.
So they play around with like sizes of squares and stuff like that. And I've heard some people call it a roguelike. It's not really a roguelike. So when you start the game, you pick either normal mode or permadeath. And then you also choose a name. You choose a 6-letter name. So I might be slightly wrong on how this works, but you choose a name, and based on the name you choose, it seeds the world around that.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's
so-
like procedurally generated?
So it's
okay.
semi-procedurally generated. There's like a core number I was reading on the website. They don't say exactly how many, but there's a core number of dungeons that are in every world.
Oh,
And
gotcha.
then, but they're not even in the same place, right? They're just
Okay,
kind of
yeah.
strewn about the world. Every world starts with you in front of a cave that you go into and get a sword. But
Okay,
then
so this
from
is
there,
deliberate.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But from there, it's very different. And you get like, you get weird items. Like you find a lighter that helps you just make a little flame, and you can use it to like burn trees away or stuff like that. Or you get a cup which you can use to drink from. I haven't found anything to drink yet, but I have a red Solo cup.
Okay.
Is this a fantasy game or like a college sim? What?
So your main character speaks very much like a modern internet guy.
Ooh.
Not like it works sometimes.
Okay.
So like really early on, you kind of eat this magic cactus and you trip out, and the ghost teaches you how to meditate. And
It's just like college.
yeah, yeah, actually.
Wow.
And then like you meet up with your robot dude, and you were like, "Holy shit! I was like in this meditation chamber, and I moved a door with my mind, like for work."
Yeah.
But sometimes it's a little like cringy and whatever. But its story seems pretty cool. Like there's some flashbacks, there's some hints of like what's going on in this world. Like you're destined to be here in a way, but it's not really clear how things are going to play out. I beat like the beginner dungeon and one other dungeon. I don't know if it was a core one or not. Well, no, it actually was. So something that's helpful is you'll find an item that will point you to the next main objective if you want, or you can just go explore.
Okay. Is the idea just like, hey, do all these dungeons and then you can go beat the game kind of thing?
I think so.
Yeah.
And so, they have said, with the way the seeding works, you can totally like share. If you find a really cool world, you just put your code up
Nice.
and people can just play that world. You can just type in random letters and do a permadeath run and just see how far you get. It seems like it has a decent chunk of replayability, though I haven't seen how long the campaign takes.
I was gonna say, do you get a sense for how big the world is?
It doesn't tell you how many core dungeons there are,
Okay.
but I feel like it's probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5. I have discovered a pretty large chunk of the map, but I don't think I've hit walls, like borders on either side yet. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna play more of it. It controls super deliberately, like it feels kind of sluggish at first, but it's very deliberate once you kind of like realize your sword. So you do like a big hefty sword swing that you really have to like work out, and it escalates very quickly from you fighting like little slime monsters, and then all of a sudden you fight like big demons that shoot boomerangs and stuff at you. And
Do you have like a subset of weapons at all, or like
I believe
sword the main?
that's the only one I've unlocked.
Okay.
But there's like a track screen if you let it running on the main menu for long enough, and I see some like other abilities being thrown. And there's like you can bring 2 items to a transmutator, and it'll combine them, so
neat.
you can like come up with weird custom weapons and stuff.
Luigi and a rabbit.
Yeah.
and then-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found a top hat that I can throw, and it will collect items and bring them back to me, but also do a little damage to enemy. So yeah, it's very Zelda.
Yeah, that sounds like a deliberate tribute. That's cool.
This seems to be the first game from this first major release from this studio. So I'm interested to see people's reception to
Yeah,
it.
that sounds neat. I want
It's
to check
not out
it
yet.
Yeah, I think that comes out next week.
But
Cool.
yeah, it's really cool.
Excellent.
And that's it.
Yeah. Jason, you play anything besides Absolver you want to touch on before we move on?
Monster Hunter Stories. It's weird because they've got a demo out, but I'm also playing it for review, so I'm under embargo, so I don't know what I can say
Monster
other
Hunter
than
Stories?
yeah,
It's a 3DS game.
yeah, 3DS a Japanese RPG.
Yeah. They made a
Based on
JRPG?
a JRPG, yeah,
Weird.
based on the anime.
Huh.
There's an anime. You've watched it. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
my favorite
Yeah.
Who's your favorite?
ever. Monster Hunter and anime.
Who's your Monster Hunter waifu? I forgot.
Keep the cat.
Rathian.
The cat.
It's cool. It's not like a traditional like fight item, kind of RPG.
Yeah.
Like it's turn based, but everything's based off of a type of attack, and it's kind of like a rock paper scissors more than anything else, I guess. So you've got your main Monster Hunter, which can attack as well as any monster that you find. So you go out in the world, you find eggs and stuff, and you hatch them. And that's your monster.
Now
And
I get it.
it's good, I think.
Okay.
If not a bit simplistic and
All right.
kind of childish.
Which
is,
platform is it?
3DS.
3DS, okay.
3DS only. But if you've watched the anime, it's very childish.
Which
in
we
that
all
respect.
have, of course.
Yeah, no, you're
I know.
preaching to the choir here.
I know. Hey, there's amiibo associated with
Oh,
it.
good.
Yeah, I'm gonna get them all.
Are there Monster Hunter amiibo?
Yeah, there are
For
now.
the-
Yeah,
for this-
tied
for
into
this.
this game.
Huh.
Is
Wow.
the cat one of them?
Yeah, Naviru.
I had no idea this even existed. I don't know how that's.
They
That is how I felt when it showed up. I was like, what is what?
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 Like
and,
how-
then, and then now hearing it's based on an anime, it actually makes slightly
Like,
more sense in a weird way.
It seems crazy that is coming out here, but not Double Cross
Not
on
Double
the Switch,
Cross.
which seems like that's crazy. I don't
Yeah.
know. Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, to like traditional like JRPG fans, I don't know if this is gonna scratch anything for you,
Yeah.
but for Monster Hunter fans that are looking for something a little different,
Yeah.
yeah, it's got all the tropes. Like it's
Yeah.
got all the sound effects and stuff, and kind of the RPG realized loop of Monster Hunter, if that makes any
All right.
sense.
Yeah.
Hatching eggs and stuff, and like farming animals is kind of interesting as opposed to hunting them all the
So
time.
it's one of those.
And there's a demo up now.
Yeah, there's demo up
Okay.
right now.
Cool. When's that out?
Late next month, I
Okay.
think.
Oh, wow.
I want to say September
So it's
28th or
little
something.
ways off.
Oh, wow.
It might be sooner. I'm
Okay.
not sure, but
Cool.
yeah, go check out the demo.
All right. Excellent. Well, those are the games we've been playing.
Yeah.
Feels like there's a million games coming out right now.
It's game season.
Madden is out.
Oh, right. Yeah, that did happen,
yeah.
didn't
Yeah.
it? But it's just like a lot of indie games filling in gaps.
Yeah.
I heard the Madden story mode. is
Yeah.
amazing.
I keep seeing people talking about the Madden story mode.
I kind of want to play it.
Who was it? It was Ocho Cinco. I saw people saying that Ocho Cinco was really good in that
Oh,
story mode.
all right.
Just, I don't know. The Madden campaign.
Yeah. Madden. Everyone comes to Madden for the campaign.
Yeah, just like the
these
Call of
days.
Duty campaign.
It's a 3-pillar game. You've got
Yeah.
the campaign, you get the competitive multiplayer,
And
and
zombies.
then
Zombies.
the card mode, and then
Yeah.
well, actually, yeah, zombies is kind of like part of the card mode.
Yeah,
but-
obviously. Cool. All right, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and read news and emails. We'll see you in a minute. Hey, I brought some headlines for you guys, and I'm going to read them to you. What do you think of that?
News of
Damn
the
it.
world.
You're just
Yeah.
gonna read
Damn
the
it.
headlines.
Yep.
I clicked the damn thing
Nope.
and it didn't damn play.
It's
All
'cause
right.
you turn the music.
We
down.
can't have news.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Now we can have the news.
I'm sorry.
That's the breaking news music. A little bit of stuff going on.
Breaking news at this hour.
Live on the scene. I was out of town when this happened last week,
Mm-hmm.
but
That's your excuse.
the guy's website immediately went down after it happened, so I'm guessing that people fairly lost their minds over it. Former writer at Valve, Mark Laidlaw,
Yeah.
posted what appears to be the plot summary of Half-Life 2 Episode 3 on his website.
And where were you at this time?
It was in Santa Barbara.
Uh-huh.
A likely
On
story.
a boat, actually.
With Wi-Fi?
Now that you mention it.
International waters.
Satellite.
Now that you mention it.
Yeah, he posted this thing.
Yeah.
It quickly got mirrored to GitHub.
Yeah.
Because people needed a place to read it once the website crashed.
I found it on Pastebin.
Yeah, sure.
'cause his-
Another
'cause his
great place to
website-
put it.
His website was still down at the time.
A lot of stuff on Pastebin.
Yes, there certainly is.
Keep clicking around. You eventually find some.
Is there ASCII porn?
No, it's links to actual porn.
Oh, but even better.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It's so
Sounds
he,
like a
he
Half-Life
put it
game.
up with like alternate names.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then someone corrected the names
Yes.
to actually match up.
Yes. Not
not
terribly hard to figure
yeah,
out
no,
who
easy to
actually
figure out
means what.
what was what there.
Um,
And so I read that corrected version.
Yeah.
It's,
And he even tweeted recently or said shortly after the thing went up and then the website went down. He said my website's down for now. I guess fanfic is popular, even a gender swapped snapshot of a dream I had many years ago.
Huh.
yeah. It's a weird thing.
Kind of a lot of things you could read into that
I
statement.
feel like we were just talking about how wouldn't it be nice if there was a little bit of closure around the Half-Life stuff.
Yeah.
And,
And then
this
here you
is not that, or in it is and it isn't.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, this is he posted this with a name implying it was episode 3,
Yeah.
not
Half-Life
necessarily
3.
Half-Life 3. And if he's saying many years ago, then that timeline probably lines up closer with like when they were thinking about this in an episodic way.
Yeah.
And the story itself, I don't know if you want to recap it or what. Like people can go read it. It's not.
Yeah. I mean, the real short version is, so, I mean, episode 2, Eli Vance dies, shockingly,
Right.
at the end.
which I fucking
You forgot?
dude, I don't remember
Really?
anything about the
Wow.
events of the Half-Life games.
That's where I was.
Like he went in a portal and then
That's the only. To be
bunch
fair,
of shit fucked up.
To be
and
fair, that's the
G-Man
only thing
and-
I remember.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because it's the death of a major character.
Alex Vance,
and
I remember.
and a big cliffhanger.
Dog,
Dog's pretty cool.
Head crabs.
Barney.
Yeah, Barney's all right.
Yeah, these are the things I remember about Half-Life. Yeah, fucking Ravenholm. You don't go there.
That's true.
Physics.
We don't go to Raven.
Physics.
Trying to find a way to get the dwarf stuck to the dune buggy so I can get that achievement.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
Anyway.
This would have been set in Antarctica. So where I really lost the plot of the Half-Life stuff is when they started, or not they, but people in the fandom started trying to tie the Portal stuff into the events of Half-Life.
there were things.
And I know
in
there were
you know,
teases.
to the point where you started thinking that whatever they were going to do with Half-Life next, like maybe they would just give Gordon Freeman a portal gun,
Right.
And that Portal was really just a great test of like, how do we get this to work on flat surfaces? Now, how do we get it to work in a Half-Life, like curved weird surfaces?
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Some crazy thing.
But this is not necessarily that.
No.
But the story does revolve around a ship.
Yeah, which
that is
I
kind of phasing in and
Yeah.
out of existence.
Yeah, it's called the Borealis. I remember hearing that
yeah.
name a lot back not long after Portal came out when people started connecting these dots.
Yeah. So some of that stuff I think is lined up to some of this Portal stuff. Right?
It sounds pretty
Yeah.
straightforward, like it would have had Gordon and Alex going to Antarctica to try to recover the ship.
That's kind of the thing about it.
Treating the ship as the key to defeating the Combine, or at
seems
least stopping them from getting their hands on
Right.
it.
It seems straightforward in a way that also I think lends some credence to this being episode 3 and not enough content to be
Not enough major
does-
resolutions.
Yes, to be Half-Life 3.
It does read as a pretty short thing.
Yeah.
It also ends in a pretty open-ended way.
Yeah.
That would have been probably open to a lot of interpretation.
Yeah, and of course people have already been trying to interpret this a lot of different ways, even though it's just text, and trying to say like, oh man, would this then mean that future Half-Life games you would play as Alex Vance?
Yeah.
With Gordon Freeman kind of going back on ice.
Yeah, because that is I guess the big takeaway from the ending is that the G-Man shows up to pluck not Gordon but Alex out of the events that are taking place.
Yeah.
And make off with her, and he's just kind of left going,
And then the Vortigaunts swoop in and
save him.
But then the Vortigaunts were the ones that kind of just locked him up in stasis to begin with last time, right? The beginning of,
I think so.
was that episode 1?
Oh, I don't remember.
Where they just like, oh, you're out. All right, get out there and shit's fucked up.
I thought
And you're fighting alongside the Vortigaunts for a while.
that definitely happens.
But I don't remember where, if that's
Yeah.
episode 2 or 1 or whatever.
Wait, that was Halo. I have no idea.
No, it's Red Dwarf.
Okay.
yeah.
The only thing I really remember is that I remember really not liking episode 1 and thinking
Yeah.
that episode 2 was better.
Yes, I remember thinking 1 was pretty boring,
Yeah.
and 2 got it together. 2 had the cool stuff with like, that big flashy ending sequence where you're driving around all over the place. And
Yeah.
the Striders coming in
I
everywhere.
don't know if
and-
flashy is the word. I
well,
use.
bigger scale
Yeah.
than Half-Life
Bigger
usually
scale.
got up to, because
Yeah.
you were like trying to defend the resistance base.
Right.
And
Which
that
was
kind of
the
thing.
one with that beach level where you couldn't get on the sand?
Is that just the Lost Coast demo? I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I remember very little of Half-Life.
Yeah.
This always gets weird talking about stuff like this because I can't speak for you guys, but I tend to play through games once when they come out and then typically never again.
Yeah.
So for people who have played through like these games like a dozen times,
Right.
and
yeah,
recently,
Yeah. Like
I'm
I
sure these conversations are infuriatingly vague.
could
for
not
people.
remember. Yeah, like I said,
Yeah.
I have the
I
plot
remember
of Half-Life
enjoying
2. I remember the opening of Half-Life 2 and being like, wow. And I remember Ravenholm being like, huh.
Mhm.
And then that's about it. Like and then the characters and plot, like that's
And then the crazy, the gravity gun,
sure.
and then the crazy super
gravity gun.
super gun at the end of the game.
Who was the robot?
Dog.
Dog.
There we go. Who was the robot dog?
Dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is interesting. It's like it just seems like here's a, if you take it at face value and assume that this was the legitimate storyline to Half-Life 3, which
Yeah,
Mark
or-
Laidlaw, or Half-Life Episode 3,
Episode 3. Yeah.
which Mark Laidlaw would have been the person in
To have written,
charge
Yeah.
of doing such a thing,
because he did all that stuff.
then that's fascinating. But
Yeah.
also, there was also the interview with Gabe Newell probably around that time, where he just straight up said, yeah, we're moving away from the episodic model, which is when everyone transitioned from wanting Half-Life Episode 3 to wanting Half-Life 3.
Do you know roughly when he said that? Was that in the wake of episode 2, or was that like years later?
That was after.
Okay.
Maybe not in the wake of, but I think it was. I don't remember. I want to say it was around the time when people were like, "Where's episode 3?" And he was like, "We're not. The episode's not so much." But I can't. I don't know the timeline of events here.
I'm almost able to tell you. 2011
Okay.
is when he said that. So
And when did episode 2 come out?
Oh gosh.
When did Half-Life 2 come out?
2004, I think, is when Half-Life 2
Okay.
came out, right?
Sure.
Episode 2. Oh, it launched with the Orange Box, right?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
2007.
Oh, okay.
So,
Right.
so even that comment from Gabe was 4 years after episode 2.
Yeah. So, if you remember the actual timeline here, which I do not, but I do remember that like it was a long time of people going like, "Where's episode 3?"
Because they had said earlier,
and there was the hard flip.
at the outset, they flat out said there will be 3 episodes, right?
I want to say that was the case. But even still, like the end of episode 2.
Yeah, it makes it obvious that
you know,
they've got stuff to wrap up.
There's still stuff after that, but
Yeah.
they eventually kind of gave that quote saying like, "Yeah, the episodic thing, not really for us."
Yeah.
So then that's when the Half-Life 3 stuff began in earnest.
Yeah.
Um.
I don't know what to read into.
So whatever they worked on more recently that was Half-Life 3 may have been this and more,
Yeah.
or may have not had any of this.
The way I specifically take his comment that like this is a snapshot of a dream I had many years ago sounds very much like this is what I would have written for that game, but this will never get made.
Or this is what I did write for this game that never got made.
Yeah. But yeah, the key takeaway to me is that this, and you could assume he wouldn't even have put this out there if this was still being worked on.
Of course.
So
I'm sure Half-Life 3 has undergone enough time and people and probably philosophical differences to its creation that like whatever episode 3 was set to be.
And just like advancements in storytelling
Sure,
and video
right, yeah,
games
yeah,
and,
yeah.
and tech and
and Laidlaw's been out of there for a while. Like Eric
Yeah.
Wolpaw is gone.
Right.
Like a lot of the names that you knew as their writing talent have departed.
Yeah. And
So who knows?
so this to me reads like what it says it is.
Yeah.
It reads like here's the script to an episode 3 that we definitely didn't make.
Yeah.
That maybe they started down the road of making it because there are some prototype maps out there that got out along the way that are dated in such a way. There's a bunch of conspiracy videos trying to tie all this stuff together now. That's all like fascinating, but this lines up as like, yeah, this was probably what episode 3 was to be, rounding out that arc in a way. If you think about it, if you think about this is like, think about the episodes as one full game. That's a good third act in a lot of ways. That's a good twist ending.
You saying Half-Life 2 episodes was Half-Life 3?
Yeah, totally.
Sure.
And, and that would have been a fun like I said, twist ending to just like, holy shit. Now, what's the situation here with Gordon and Alex and the G-Man? Like, there's still so much left that they could crack back into at any time.
Yeah.
For Half-Life 4 or 3, whatever they want to call it.
Which is kind of how they left Half-Life 1, like the immediate
Right.
threat was dealt with, like the big bad monster was dispatched, but then what the fuck's up with the G-Man? Like this,
Yeah.
you're still left scratching your head about a lot of stuff, and that's
Exactly.
exactly how this would have wrapped up.
Yeah, and so that this all rings true to me. I don't know anything more than anyone else does when it comes to this specific bit of info.
Same. You have to assume, anything is possible, but it's probably safe to assume that he had some kind of sign-off from people at Valve.
You wonder.
Yeah.
Or maybe enough people had left that he was like,
I feel like it's probably more like that, or like
What are they gonna
important quote unquote people who
this
would
is
have
such ancient history.
gotten
Like,
mad.
who's going to care?
Yeah.
like a tell-all style thing, where it's just like
Yeah.
eventually enough time passes, enough people leave the company, and also you just start not caring about
Right.
repercussions or whatever because
Yeah,
you're set.
actually, maybe he was frustrated that this work he had done was never going to see the light of day.
Yeah, maybe.
There's no way to know.
Or maybe this is all part of the plan.
Oh man,
This is the first step in the viral
The
ARG.
arc.
This is how they
Yeah.
move past an ARG. Is that
Yeah.
they start
They just start leaking prototypes
Yeah.
and
Somebody
scripts.
will like build it together.
like obvious ARGs are too obvious at this point, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So like now you have to like gin up a disgruntled.
They're going to
former
write a whole
employee
different script and then
storyline.
send pages of those scripts to external studios. And then when Black Mesa comes out, this will all make a lot more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Who can say?
Yeah.
I bet we've heard the last of Half-Life stuff for a while.
You think so?
Or yeah, I guess.
Or this is a prelude to something totally insane happening, one or the other.
Or I don't know that I would say it's a prelude, but you have to wonder, like, could this be a catalyst?
Mm-hmm.
Could this be a thing that gets people at Valve
Oh.
potentially excited about doing this again, and they maybe pick it up
Yeah.
and start on Half-Life 3 again?
So there's one Twitter exchange that I saw screenshotted on Kotaku that is worth pointing out. Somebody responded to Ladle on Twitter and said, "I feel ashamed to say that I did not understand the relation between G-Man and Alex. Any clue about this?" He says, "Nope, that's something Valve might still want to develop, flesh out, and explain someday."
Yeah.
So
He's her dad.
Real dad.
He's her real dad
Son.
from the future.
he's her extra dimensional, weird, creepy, quasi alien dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
He possessed the body of Dr. Vance Sr.
Mhm.
at the time of coitus.
Gross. There's some weird
There's
stuff.
a
in
whole
this.
mini game in there
Yeah.
that'll explain a lot of this.
Some weird stuff in this story, like Dr. Breen's consciousness would have come back, but embedded in some disgusting alien slug thing.
Yeah, sure.
Some cool ideas in there.
Yeah, that I think would have been a good conclusion to what I remember of episode 1 and 2,
Yeah.
because I remember those being relatively flat,
Mhm.
or episode 1
Yes.
especially, but
Yes.
like 2 probably got a little bit more.
Yeah.
I still want my Half-Life of the fucking final moments of Half-Life are Gordon Freeman shouting no and that breaking reality completely. He finally speaks. It somehow destroys everything.
Yeah.
He could have spoken all along and didn't realize it. It just took them murdering Alex Vance in front of him or
You have to
some
scream
grisly
no
thing.
into the mic.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And to get the technology down.
Yep.
But, we talked about it. Was that last week, I think?
Yeah. Somebody happened to write in last week asking about Half-Life 3.
It was Mark Laidlaw, turns out. He's setting, this is the weird inadvertently part of this
fuck.
fucking ARG now. No, when you think about Half-Life in terms of what it meant to Valve in terms of technology or what it meant for games, when you think about Half-Life 2's release and what it did for physics in games and all that sort of stuff, like how do you top that?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
petrifying.
It's tough, dude.
The episodes didn't do it, but it didn't have to because they were like putting them out there as these bite-sized things that were like, here's some more Half-Life, and they were able to kind of get away with it. Not that those episodes didn't have like you said, like wider, bigger scope, larger areas,
Yeah.
and
Just incremental advances in the tech.
But I even remember at the time, like the wait between between episode 1 and 2 was interminable. Like people were getting really antsy because Valve takes forever to do
remember,
anything.
like the Half-Life 2 fucking Alcatraz event, and were you at that?
No,
thing?
I was on a plane for some reason.
We were
I'm
coming back from
still-
Japan. We were in Tokyo.
I'm still. Is that what it was?
Yeah, we got back from Tokyo the night of the Half-Life 2 Alcatraz thing.
I'm still so bummed I didn't get to go to the freaking party at Alcatraz.
But
for
I
Half-Life
remember
2.
like multiple people here, like some of us just being like, we could go to this thing, but I just got back from fuck this. I'm going to fucking bed.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I went to a party on Alcatraz once.
Yeah, I bet
It
that's
was
awesome.
Pretty cool.
I've been to
Did
a
you get a
night.
free video card?
No.
Were they giving out video cards?
The event was run by Nvidia. I
No, it
wanna
was
say.
ATI. I remember
it was
they had
ATI,
that huge,
whatever it was.
that huge
yeah.
ATI promotion for
Some
Half-Life
video
2.
card company.
I
but
know
wanna
that.
say that
I know that because somehow I ended up with a T-shirt from that event, which
Yeah.
I still have.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, Alcatraz at night after you've
It's
been
awesome.
drinking,
Oh, I've never been there drunk.
terrifying.
I went on a regular night tour, like the
Those night
guided
tours are
tour.
really
It's
cool.
fucking amazing being out there at night, and like seeing the skyline from across the bay. But also, yeah, like Alcatraz is creepy in the dark.
Last time I went to Alcatraz, all I could think was like, this is actually a lot like that Tony Hawk Alcatraz level. Like
Yeah.
they actually,
It's
you
surprisingly
go down and around.
did
There's the building there that you could ride on the top of. Like,
Yeah. They did the
You
homework.
see the lines. You go like, yeah, I could skate. If one could skate, but also jump better than a person, you could jump from there to there.
Yeah,
Um,
Alcatraz
saw the
audio-
videotapes laying around.
yeah. Also a lot of video tapes.
floating in the air and spinning around.
Weird.
It's really strange. yeah.
Weird.
I think that audio tour is the best touristy thing you can do in the city.
Totally.
It's-
I totally
it's
recommend it to
really
people who
good.
are like, questioning
Yeah,
this.
I went and did it like 7 years ago. I'd never been to Alcatraz, and
Because
and
the
I
tape-
was
the
actually
tape-
like, oh, this is actually
Tape
neat.
tour is nothing but inmates and guards from the era narrating it as you're walking through it, and it's just like, oh, it's like, see those pock marks in the wall over there? That's where we dropped grenades through the ceiling during that escape attempt.
Yeah.
It's just some really
This
awesome.
is where the Birdman was.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
But yeah, I just we talked about it some last week. I just don't know what the impetus for
Yeah,
Valve to make
yeah.
another Half-Life would be.
Like, forget Half-Life 2, man. I think Half-Life 1 is one of the most influential games of all time. Like,
It's no sin,
approach
but
In retrospect, that whole because they came out like right around the same time,
They
right?
were supposed to. I think one got delayed.
They were
or
both-
something, but like
They were both Quake engine based first person shooters,
and they were
from-
both. Yeah, right. I guess. Yeah, and like SiN was getting significantly more
Yeah,
attention.
yeah.
And magazine covers and stuff.
At the time, I was all about SiN, and I was like,
That
"Well, Half-Life
SiN
sounds
demo,
interesting."
Like the rocket launcher in SiN is fucking good.
really good.
The multiplayer in SiN, that multiplayer demo was fucking cool.
Also, can it JC?
Also, can it JC?
Like, SiN made a good first impression.
It really did. SiN is like the state of emergency of its time.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Um.
He shoots that pigeon.
Yeah.
In the intro.
Yeah, he does. SiN was good. SiN was better than.
SiN's pretty good.
SiN is my Half-Life.
Sure, I could get behind that statement, but it was hard to know what to make of Half-Life until you got it in your hands and played through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like
You're gonna be selling that shirt at PAX, right? You're gonna set up a booth. SiN is my Half-Life.
Yeah.
Just some sweet merch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The SiN is my Half-Life booth. Just come by. It's me. You see Gabe Newell doing the thing with a knife. He goes like, stabs it between his fingers real fast.
Oh yeah.
Do not interrupt Gabe while he is doing that.
Yep.
He will be very cross.
Yep. But yeah, man, like Half-Life rewrote the book on storytelling in a first-person game, pretty much.
Yeah, it did. Yes, and so that stuff has come such a long way. And also, like I
Yeah.
said, Half-Life 2 with the technical stuff with physics.
Yeah.
Influenced games for years afterwards.
Yeah. So
And
like
then
to
the
just
tech,
make another Half-Life with a good story and that's it.
It is not.
That is not
Half-Life 3.
not honoring the legacy of
Yeah.
Half-Life. So that's a hard problem.
And so I get why a Valve that probably views Half-Life in a similar context of like there needs to be something larger than, because you think about Portal, like there were technological advancements in Portal 2 and stuff, the way they kind of handle their surfaces and just that they were pushing things forward a little bit there. And so if you think about Half-Life as having to be A, the continuation of this story that people really want to see more of, but also B, like some kind of amazing hook around it,
Yeah.
it becomes increasingly difficult to make.
Yep.
And in a world where Valve has moved further and further into stuff like CSGO and Dota and hats and
VR,
all that other stuff, VR, yeah,
kinds of
yeah,
crazy
they-
stuff,
they've
yeah.
got- they
The
have
marketplace, the economy,
Yeah.
just like all of that.
they have incredibly different irons in the fire right now. They have teams of people that are designed, they're there to tend those irons. And the people that have been story focused, the people that have been writers, and like a lot of those people have moved on. A lot of the people you probably consider to be key people in the Half-Life story are not there to finish it.
Yeah.
So it's very understandable why current Valve would look at it and go like, it's not ours to play with, or
Yeah.
But I could
or they
also-
took multiple attempts and said this isn't. They took multiple attempts
Yeah.
at Half-Life 3 and walked away from it each time.
If any company out there had enough resources to build a dream team to
Oh, yeah.
come in and make Half-Life,
sure.
it's totally
Yeah.
Valve.
Yeah.
Like,
This is actually what I really was trying to get at last week when I said like if they don't want to make it, they shouldn't make it. Like that was the real concern was if they make something they don't have a good idea for,
Yeah.
it could be very underwhelming.
and it doesn't sound like them to be the company
Yeah.
to do that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't fault them for not doing it.
Yeah.
And I think I think this is like a fascinating thing to read as what might have been if things had gone a little differently, if Valve had been, because if you remember, like those episodes got delayed multiple times too, right?
Totally. I think they had originally said maybe it was something like one a year or something like that, and that that
people
didn't happen.
coined the phrase Valve time for a reason,
Right.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, and like, are they going to sign up for multiple years of development to make Half-Life 2 Episode 3? That's why Gabe got out there and said, "Nah, it's not really our thing."
Yeah.
And they probably took they took an attempt probably right about there to try to turn it into a full thing. That didn't go. They tried it again. Pretty sure that didn't go. And they tried it again, a little more recent history, but still not even current day.
Yeah.
So maybe current day Valve is working on it. I have no fucking idea at this point.
A lot of people up there,
A lot of people up there.
and they don't all work on Dota.
Yeah.
Contrary to popular
Oh
perception.
yeah, there's that dude on to talk about that whole Steam page.
What?
People. So that after that story broke, people in droves started writing negative reviews on the Dota.
Oh my God, are you serious?
Steam page. It got
Because Dota 2 is a bad game.
bombarded.
Finally.
I was just
God,
going by. I mean, you see, like people.
Oh, no.
People blame Dota constantly for the lack of Half-Life 3,
Yes.
as if like
if you go there, I mean, it was a huge just swath of people. Like Dota ruins Half-Life. We have no Half-Life because of Dota, and then Dota players starting to like try and counteract it by leaving positive reviews.
Dota good.
And then
Thumbs up.
it made me find my review of Dota that I wrote in 2012. That was Dota is a bad game. Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, it was just like bombarded.
That's really
A huge
that's
influx of
really,
negative reviews
really dumb.
by
Yeah,
people who don't
having-
understand how video game companies work.
Having talked to multiple people who have worked on the Dota team, like the maximum number of people that have ever worked on Dota, there is nowhere near enough to prevent them from making a Half-Life 3 if they wanted to.
Yeah.
Like that's
Valve could do a lot of things if it wanted to.
Yeah.
You know, they try to find a lot of creative ways to make things happen in and around Steam that involve them not paying people that should probably be paid and stuff like that.
sure.
It's a lot of money at Valve. You'd think that wouldn't be an issue, but I guess you know, private company. Maybe you're like, hey, what if we held on to all the money? Maybe I don't know. I don't know. That's the thing. A lot of people like to. It's not even like people don't know how video game companies work or whatever. It's like Valve is its own thing.
Yeah,
It's a
Valve is a weird.
It's a crazy one-off
anomaly.
case. There's nothing quite like it out there. What are they motivated by? I have no idea.
Like no other company, with the exception of maybe Blizzard at the height of WoW, has
Yeah.
like this fucking insane revenue stream in the background,
Right.
just propping up
Like,
everything
you
they do.
want to think of it as like some kind of like fucking magical Andy Warhol artist factory thing where they're just able to make whatever they want and spend all the time making it and all this other stuff. But it's not like the people that have left there that have had a few things to say about stuff. Like, doesn't sound like that
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah.
So
And it certainly doesn't help that they don't like have a PR presence really, or like a customer support, like outward facing.
they put out press releases. They do
But, like,
Yeah.
technically have
not
people
to
in,
the
But they're very tight-lipped.
yeah. They
yeah.
don't have. They're not like on Twitter a bunch saying like being a brand online or anything.
I
They're
feel like the most forward-facing Valve has been in a long time has been when Chet was still there and he was talking a lot about VR.
yeah.
As the Vive was coming out and all this other stuff, like he'd become the face for developers. He'd kind of become the face of VR at Valve. And so you had him out there talking a lot about that sort of stuff, and that was fascinating. He is no longer with the company. And yeah, I just don't know. I don't keep in close enough contact with anyone who is ex-Valve or current Valve to know what current day Valve is even like anymore.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating story.
Could not guess at what they'll be doing a year from now.
Yeah.
Or 2 years.
I
from now.
Artifact updates.
I would.
Well, yeah,
I would
okay.
not have
Except
guessed.
for that.
I would not have guessed. Maybe I should have been. If I
Yeah.
was a little smarter, I probably would have figured it out. But I would not have guessed that they would make a Dota card game.
Right.
Yeah.
But again, how many people could that take? Like
Oh yeah, that can't be a large.
they
team.
could always be making Half-Life 3 if they wanted to. Like,
Yes.
Like nothing that they do is
They
ever
could
gonna stop
they
them.
could size up to
Yes.
make it if they needed
Nothing-
to. They
nothing
could,
that
they
Valve
could work with
does.
external partners to make it if
Yeah,
they wanted
which
to.
is why it's really dumb to blame stuff that they are doing for stuff that they're not doing, because they could be doing that too if they really want.
Blame the economist that they hired that has probably like got a chart that says what's our hat potential for this game.
Sure, maybe with the exception of that. If they hadn't tried to sell hats for Portal 2 co-op, I might disagree with you.
Right.
But that's pretty telling.
Yeah, I mean they experiment
Yeah.
on their users.
Yes.
a great deal.
What an opportune segue. Speaking of experimenting on your users, the Fallout 4 Creation Club has launched. Remember paid mods?
So this is slightly different than this is.
It's kind
Yes.
of the same thing.
It is kind of the same thing, but these
Handled
mods
differently.
These mods come from Bethesda and approved developers.
Yeah.
It is not just you
Oh,
can't.
that is the key difference.
Yeah,
Yes,
it
it's
is not
highly,
just mods that are then someone decides they want to charge for, but you do still purchase Creator Club points.
except in
or
the
is it Creator
case.
Club coins? Did they go full
Uh,
CCC?
Let me see.
or did they-
The actual currency is called
Creator Club revenue.
Oh, okay. All right.
Credits.
Credits, Creator
Trying
Club
to-
credits.
I think that's right.
Um,
There is.
they're literally selling horse armor.
Yeah, I think that's
As a
It's
part of
called
it.
Secrets.
It's power.
Yeah.
It's power horse armor, which I feel like is a decent joke for Fallout.
It's yes.
Yeah.
They
Also, it's $3.
yeah okay. Yeah, and so you have to buy into a fake currency
Yeah.
to then spend it on
Yes, and
this stuff. It doesn't show up
And
as like DLC in the standard Steam interface.
And
it's
they-
like a whole
yes, and they went full on Microsoft points, like
right.
skewed conversion, where
Is there a best value, or is it just straight
well,
out the-
so for one thing, $8 worth of credits is the lowest amount you can, like the smallest increment you can buy currency.
Weird.
And you said that one mod is like $3.
I believe the horse armor is 3. Is what I
So-
saw.
You can't just. You have to buy 3 horse armors.
Yeah, okay.
There's, yeah.
I'm in.
But yeah, so for $7.99 you get 750 credits. So do the math.
No, I don't want to do the math.
Hold on.
I got into this line of work specifically to not do math.
7
That's fair.
goes into.
I saw this one story on Polygon about there's basically a suit of armor that was already in the game as a free mod, which they are now charging for. I mean, I don't think it's like it's not literally the same model. It's not like
Right.
they plucked that model out and started charging for it. It's something from Fallout 3 that people had added.
It's
Okay,
about
so-
100 credits per dollar,
Okay.
roughly.
Roughly, give or take.
I did the math.
Nice.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Um,
So there is some overlap that people are not thrilled about.
yeah. I think that there's a case to be made for DLC of a variety of sizes of like, a full-on expansion right down to, individual items. Like, like that stuff has been tested and stuff over the years. I think building a creators club around it and having to like label it and have this new currency, which I don't know if that's them just like, because they have their own launcher now and you can buy their games from them.
Oh, right.
So they have a reason to have it exist outside of Steam
Yeah.
if they want it to all tie into whatever they built for people who are not using Steam. But none of this is for me. I have not played
but it's gonna
Fallout 4
be able to-
since it was new.
It's gonna be so cool to look at it in VR.
No. No, it's all right.
Oh, you're right. Actually,
Yeah.
it's not good.
And this is stuff only from Bethesda,
No,
or
no,
stuff
not-
that
it's
they've
approved
curated.
partners. They're
Yeah.
curating it.
Yeah,
So
not-
it's
not
a
just them.
storefront that they are curating and working with whatever. I don't know if their partners are people from the mod community or if it's like actual other studios doing like small work for them. That part was not clear from the
Yeah.
stuff I was reading. But,
So we're not gonna get
Macho Man. Fucking no.
nothing branded,
No, of course
nothing
not.
new.
Unless
Well,
they go out and do the work to do like
yeah, I mean,
a branding deal.
If the
you know?
owners of a brand want to make a thing, I'm sure they'll be like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
put a can of Pringles in the game.
Totino's
Yeah.
is coming soon.
But if look, if you want to put a can of Pringles into Fallout, we could probably do that.
Let's make it happen.
What's its weight?
Let's do it.
0 weight, because encumbrance is a fucking pain in the ass to
Hell
deal with
yeah.
in those games.
Apparently, one of the things they're selling is a new backpack
Okay.
with additional storage space.
Yeah. Great.
Sure, whatever. I'm
damn
playing on PC anyway, probably. So I'll just
Yeah, just
hop
bring
in the
down the
console.
console and just say weight 1,000, 0,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Like there's a spacesuit from Prey available in there, so they are getting weird with some
Sure.
like fiction breaking stuff. But
When they rolled out paid mods, I think there was plenty reason to say, hey, this is like a bad implementation of this thing, and they
Yeah.
did not do the work to police it the way they needed to, and it led to they got off on the exact wrong foot with that stuff. They really fucked it up.
Yeah.
And this is not that. This doesn't even feel like necessarily a replacement for that,
Hmm.
depending on how many people from that mod community they are now doing direct business with, which I assume some of those people are. It feels like a different scope, a different style of thing. And I have no interest in add-ons for Fallout 4, especially a game that is so moddable on its own, and there are plenty of modders out there
Yeah.
that love the game, that have done a ton of work to it.
Yeah.
Like, to have people played all that stuff, and now they're like, nah, what I need is a new backpack, and I need to pay for it, I guess. Like, that just seems crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really helpful stuff already in there, like the base building mod. There was like a huge base building mod that made things easier. You could pull back into like third person a
Oh,
little
right.
more and edit like that. Just so many quality of life things that already made that game from playable to enjoyable for me personally. That the idea of now spending at least $8 on some cosmetic
Small
stuff,
like,
it's-
not just cosmetic, but like not much more than cosmetic. Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, if they start charging for interface mods, it's like people are going to riot in the streets. Like
Totally.
that's insane. Like that's just people arguably like fixing the problems they left in.
It's like there's
But so far, it looks like it's all like sort of art asset type stuff.
How about
you know?
this? A companion that's a cube.
Okay.
It follows you around and
Does it sing?
it kind of like hums.
Like beeps and boops, maybe?
Yeah.
I could maybe get into that.
Oh,
I mean, this is not directly related, but that XCOM add-on just came out,
yeah.
and I saw it was a Twitter exchange between like their whatever I think it was the Firaxis account, but people were asking like, hey, it seems like you've made like optimization changes and improvements. Is that stuff going to roll back into base XCOM 2, a game that still apparently needs a lot of optimization and stuff? And the response was like, no. Like, how do you what really?
That's not great.
Half-Life, XCOM 2, not a great game. Kind of broken. Well, whatever. It's like super broken at launch. I had a terrible time with that game.
I hadn't checked in a while, but I had heard like significantly, like months after launch, it still had quite a few problems.
Yeah, and so like seeing this exchange and seeing that people are the implication there is that it still has problems after all this time.
Effectively, like basically saying, hey, and how much is that add-on? It's like $40.
I think it's 40.
I mean, it sounds like a substantial update like that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, there's probably plenty to it. And if it runs better, then great, because it needs to. But the idea that like they
you have to buy
aren't
this.
also fixing
Yeah.
that like I think even if you buy this, it is not going to fix issues with base XCOM 2.
Yeah, it is $40.
Is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear more about it to see if that genuinely is the case, because it just sounds preposterous.
That seems bad for sure.
For how intensely. Remember, you could like hit shift to get it to fucking load faster.
What?
There was like some thing of like if you push the shift key, it magically fucking like it's just some fucking crazy shit in that game. I finished it, like I managed to win, and it's just like, man, fuck this.
The greatest XCOM enemy is the game itself.
Yeah,
which is a lot like life.
You think about how good that XCOM reboot was,
Yeah, that
and
game,
then how
it was
disappointing XCOM 2
arguably
was.
the best game of that year.
Like, there's neat sounding stuff in this expansion, but like XCOM 2 left such a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I don't know.
And they don't even have rabbits in it.
Exactly.
True.
No
So,
rabbits?
Yeah. Can you slide tackle?
Does
No.
anyone dab? It's the hot new thing. Everyone is doing it. It is so current.
Great.
It is so now.
Great.
It just came out. Dabbing.
Luigi
they just released it?
Yeah.
I don't like Luigi's dab.
Yeah.
It's poorly
It's a
executed.
bad dab.
He doesn't. I mean, like, I don't know. He barely puts his heart into it. It's like he just learned what dabbing was. Like somebody described to him how to dab,
It's
but
like-
he hasn't seen it.
It's like an animator. It's like one of those cartoons where it's being drawn as you watch it, and the cartoon characters interact with the animator, and they have like a fun back and forth. It's like some animator made Luigi dab,
Exactly.
and he turned to them with his steely gaze and said, "What the fuck you do?" And now he's being forced to dab against his will by Ubisoft. And
Whenever he dabs, he throws up into his elbow pit a little bit.
he's like,
Just
please make it stop.
all I'm saying is, if Squidward could do an amazing dab years ago, how is it taking Luigi this long?
Look,
Mario may not talk, but Luigi's got a mouth on him.
yeah, Luigi is not going to stand up for this shit.
Yeah.
Mario's a company man.
Yes.
He'll do whatever. Mario makes the town.
He's got some opinions, and his
Yeah.
friend. Like, I've heard some rumors about things he has said, but of course nothing publicly.
Oh, of course not. Yeah. And
Toad's got loose lips.
Yeah.
But Luigi,
I don't think Toad actually has lips at all. If you want
That's
to get
how loose
technical.
they are.
Whoa.
Ugh. I don't want to say that I am like defending this Creation Club stuff or being a devil's advocate or anything, but I guess the only upside I could see out of this is if it inspires like some more elaborately produced stuff to get made.
I guess
Now that people can make money at it.
they've made a
Yeah,
platform.
it's cool
In
that
terms
the
of like
artists
art, yeah,
can,
that's mainly
they
what
have
it-
incentive now
Yeah.
to create stuff because maybe they can make a little bit of money.
The
and
core,
also
the core
practice their
idea
skills.
of, hey, these people that devote tons of hours to making these mods for free, wouldn't it be cool if there was a way for them to potentially, make money at this? I like that idea.
Yeah.
The original implementation was bad, and this seems like a different enough thing that I'm not really sure what to think about it, other than, boy, it doesn't interest like me personally at all.
As long as
does
they,
it seem
as
like
long
a good
as,
move or not, I can't. I don't know.
as long as they don't go around policing the mods that get made for free.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I don't see.
If someone makes mods that kind of duplicate the functionality of this stuff but don't use any of the assets, that should be fine.
Yeah.
I don't need the Prey space armor, but what if there was some other space armor?
Yeah, sure. I guess the real question is what happens next time they ship one of their RPGs.
Yeah.
Is there only Creation Club support?
Oh no. Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Huh.
That's
Huh.
That's the scary precedent that could be getting set here.
Well, that's the thing, though. I feel like if the mod tools are only to be used in mods that appear on this store and are approved and paid mods and all this other stuff, I don't think the community will form around it
You're right.
the same way it has in the past.
I mean, that could be,
and there won't be anything to sell.
That could be ruinous to their sales figures if that's a primary reason people buy those games. Also, that's coming to console versions of Fallout next week.
Yeah, and then that's how they like kind of justify this stuff at least a little bit. Is that it's going to be hard to put full on loose mods on console versions of games, and so having a process that allows this stuff to make its way to console, curated, safe.
I'm sorry, today it rolls out on PS4 and Xbox One today for Fallout 4.
I gotta go.
Yeah. Also, it's coming. They're rolling it back into the Skyrim Special Edition next month. Yeah, so that's.
I don't know, man.
That's a thing.
It doesn't sound great, but I don't know.
Yeah. They're remaking Secret of Mana.
What?
Sure.
Do you like Secret of Mana?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you were a post Super NES. Wasn't N64 your first console?
No.
Where did I get that idea from?
No, and
where did I get that crazy idea?
That's why I'm so
could've
intent
sworn-
on trying to get a SNES Classic.
Okay.
That was my
that was your first console?
Yeah.
Okay. Secret of Mana is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's like a solid B tier Square
Totally.
Soft, I should say.
But at the time, like that
it was great.
Super.
It was great.
super
It
good.
was no Final Fantasy 3
Right.
or Chrono Trigger, but it was a good Squaresoft game.
Yeah.
And so they are like remaking it, new graphics, all this other stuff.
Yeah,
or
it's
is
3D.
It kinda,
It's like
For
3D graphics.
What platform?
PS4, Vita, and Steam
Oh,
coming out.
not coming to the Switch?
Not as yet. Although
That'd be a shame.
there's a trailer. You should go watch the trailer.
Yeah.
Looks
How's it look?
very simplistic.
Okay. Like kind of like a Final Fantasy 3 when they redid that.
When did they redo that?
So they
did
remade
4.
they remade the models from 3, made it like
On
a 3D
DS.
game.
On 3DS?
Yeah,
Yeah.
You mean like 6?
yeah.
3, actual 3.
Oh,
NES
the NES
3,
3.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Final Fantasy 3.
To this day, the fucking mismatched naming convention
Yeah.
is causing confusion.
That's why I just call it
Japan 3.
Dictator.
Oh.
Right. Yes, of course.
Claw.
I don't remember what that. I'd have to Google it. I don't remember what
Oh,
that FF3 remake looked like.
Yeah, I mean it was a pretty much direct remake, but just with like 3D models.
Yeah, I mean this
and
is
stuff.
not like full on super deformed,
Okay.
Not like
but,
that.
but
Did you
it's pretty
see?
cartoony.
So what's this? There was this Final Fantasy 15 thing. Like they're making it for mobile with like did this stuff go around? I didn't fucking dream this shit, right? Like they're making
know.
it's like Final Fantasy 15
Yeah.
models that are like super low res,
Are they low res?
Like-
I've only seen like
chunky, almost super deformed for phones.
Weird.
And then they're going to release this as an episodic thing.
But it's just the
It
game?
is just the game.
Weird.
Because they already have that Final Fantasy 15
Mobile thing that is like
Clash of Wars.
as someone who pushes a lot of buttons to see mobile ads and sees like the first few seconds of them and sets the phone down for a while to get like bonuses in other mobile games, they are advertising the shit out of that Final Fantasy game, and it looks like fucking garbage.
It looks so bad.
Nice.
I'm
Nice.
such a big fan of those ads that
Yeah.
just start out with a normal dude and they drag armor
Yeah.
onto him and he
And
transforms,
he turns into a fucking polygonal model,
loses his
and-
beard.
Yeah, yes, doesn't even fucking look like the dude
Not
anymore.
Not at all.
There's one now that like is a woman over a big table that is full of like shitty mobile
Oh,
art.
yeah.
That a guy walks and goes, "The enemies are at our gates," and like it's subtitled because you always have your sound off on your
Yeah.
phone because But it's like people looking out at you, saying like, "Now what are we gonna? Now I'm turning control over to you." Like just fucking the worst. That thing looks like fucking trash.
It's like a direct
It's another-
clone of that Schwarzenegger game.
I think it's from the same developer.
Of course. I mean, who knows with mobile games because they all copy each other.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. But it also does the same thing that other game did, where the end of the ad is it showing a search box and trying to instruct you what you should type to find it on the store. It's just like a search box is Final Fantasy. You're like, thanks for the fucking tip on that one.
That's the only thing that's been holding me back from playing it is being able to not find it.
Yeah,
I just like go Siri, Final Fantasy, and I don't get the game. But
Yeah.
now,
see if you had Google Assistant installed. it would tell you that's a video game series.
Thanks, Siri.
I'm not Siri.
Rename yourself Siri.
No.
Oh. How about Sari?
Sure. We can do that.
Thanks, Sari.
Anytime.
This is going to be 4,800 yen in Japan. Which
Okay.
is $44.
The Secret of Mana thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I want to say I Am Setsuna also launched at like $50 when it came out, which
Mm.
seems crazy.
Wait,
It's 40 as of right now.
it's this. Yeah, they're gonna make me pay $44 for Secret of Mana.
This thing looked like it looks okay. Also, the voiceover in the trailer is like real rough.
That's one of the SNES Classic games, right?
Yes.
Hmm.
So also they're doing a bunch of weird pre-order stuff. Like you can get a Moogle suit
Like a big one.
and a
like,
Tiger
that I can
2-piece
wear?
if you pre-order.
Like a tiger,
So I don't
like
know.
a
I don't know.
two-piece bikini.
This thing looks okay. This thing looks all right. I'm not
And it's out this year in Japan, right?
Well, it's February next year.
Oh, okay. All right.
For
Oh, for the US.
US.
Okay.
I'm trying to see
I
if there's
think it
a
might be
separate-
December. Or no, never mind. I was thinking of the Yakuza stuff. Kiwami
I
2.
can't find the Japanese release date in this story. February here though.
Hmm.
Anyway, it looks okay. We'll see.
It's no official Street Fighter lingerie, but what are you going to do?
No. Lastly, they announced they are indeed actually for sure killing off the Miiverse in Japan.
No.
Yeah.
Just like that, the data dump of that firmware suggested a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
They haven't said anything about U.S. or other territories yet. But,
Okay.
But they officially
I thought I
announced.
saw a link to a US site, but yeah, all right.
Unless this has happened like very recently and I didn't catch it, but
Yeah.
all I've got is the Japanese stuff. But
Mm.
I'm sure between that leak and Splatoon 2 creating its own alternative to the Miiverse,
Right.
like that was enough evidence for me to.
Splatoon 2, full of alternative things.
yeah, November
Alternative solutions for voice chat, for example.
November 8th of this year. Miiverse, Wii U Chat, and Nintendo TV
Oh, no.
What?
are all
How am
going,
I going to watch the Mario show?
all going away in Japan.
No, the TV was you using the Wii U as a remote for your TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but how am I going to change the channel to watch the Mario show?
Why is that a service they need to turn off? I guess maybe that's probably program listings or whatever. Also, no one used that thing was the worst.
Man, what a bummer they're shutting this down.
I am curious to what it means for online functionality in actual video games. Because like games did support the Miiverse. Mario Maker was like a pretty good use of the Miiverse. There's that fucking shitty Game and Wario thing.
There's that Smash 4 level with the art that
right,
populates.
yeah.
I mean, they've got this Kotaku story has screenshots of like new Mario Brothers U
Right.
and like how there's a bunch of little Miiverse integration all over the place that just won't show up anymore.
Yeah.
Mario Maker is like mostly functional without Miiverse though, right?
I assume so.
Like
That's the thing is
I mean,
like
the level sharing and stuff will work anyway, right?
one would expect that to be the case.
Yeah.
But I think when this firmware stuff leaked out, people were like, "Oh my god, that means they're shutting off all the online games too," which I don't think that's the case here. I think it is just a messaging service.
Yeah.
And the games that use that messaging service will be affected in some way. But I would expect that you would still be able to upload and download Mario levels, and that won't be an issue. But I guess I don't know.
Man, just Miiverse had enough cool ideas in it that now that they have a platform people actually like, it would be cool if some iteration of it was still around.
I wonder if it was just a fucking hassle on the moderation front.
Maybe.
It continues to be that they're just like.
I guess I didn't think about that.
They did have to talk about early on that they were like, we spent a lot of time thinking about different ways people would draw dicks.
I did not
and
think about
anticipating
having a messaging service that lets you draw whatever you want.
Yeah.
Would probably be a little time consuming to moderate.
Yeah. So,
Especially on a platform that is geared more towards children.
Yeah.
But Miiverse, I don't know. Where's my Funky Barn posts? I need to figure out a way to archive my Funky Barn
We should
stuff.
We should go through and take a look at the Miiverse before it's gone forever.
Yeah, we probably should.
That is ripe for a farewell stream, for sure.
There was some weird back-end stuff where sometimes we would get access to versions of games that would ring up as different titles. Like it'd be like Super Mario Maker Review.
Right.
And it had a separate Miiverse.
Yeah.
That's
where all the dicks are.
Yeah, where I put all the dicks. I think I might still have access to that Miiverse, which would be weird. Like a Splatoon 1 review Miiverse.
I love weird that there's more furries there actually than
somehow.
non-Splatoon.
Yeah.
I love when we get glimpses at weird console backend stuff that we shouldn't see.
Yeah, it's just like this
Like
weird,
when
this
we-
weird side effect of just like anything that is in our database as a title has to have a Miiverse by default,
Yeah.
and so it ends up creating this weird thing that no one's ever going to see or use.
Remember when we got the PSVR in here ahead of launch and games were ringing up as PlayStation VR demo kiosk?
Right? Yeah, every game
weird,
was just
weird stuff like that.
Yeah, that stuff's strange.
Yeah. All right, that's the news. Here's the emails. Bombcast@giantbomb.com. Let's read a few emails now.
Those aren't the. I don't think those are the words.
That's all
It's
I
a
had.
remix.
That's what I had in front of me. I don't know
Okay,
if
wow.
you have an.
You made it your own.
Hmm.
If you know a set of alternate lyrics,
You'll be hearing from my lawyers.
okay. Feel free.
They
to
have their own lyrics that they'd like
Yeah.
you to perform.
All right. Since you mentioned this, this person did.
Tell me right now, are there any emails about scorpions? I need to
Person-
prepare.
This person, there are. I don't have to read it. I guess.
Okay, no, I'll prepare.
Since you just mentioned this, I will read this email from Alexander now. I'm not sure if you guys have heard about this. Apparently you had. But people over on NeoGAF discovered that for some reason, Splatoon 2 has built-in voice chat over LAN if you plug a headset in. Now, this really annoys me because it seems really apparent that the mobile app is nothing more than an extra step that has no good reason to exist. What are your thoughts? And I actually copied some.
It's bad.
I copied some of the posts over from that forum thread where people discovered this.
Yeah.
It's well here. I'll read the instructions from this NeoGAF post. Go to the local multiplayer lobby, which I guess is known as the Shoal.
Yeah.
I'm sure you know what that means.
The building off to the right, and yeah, this is on Nintendo's site as well.
Okay, press and hold combination of LR and left stick until the game fades out of the lobby and then fades back into the same lobby but in LAN mode.
Right. Sure. What?
You all need to be on the same local network.
Because normally it would connect locally via local wireless, same
via
way a
ad hoc.
DS would or whatever.
Ad hoc,
yeah, ad
right?
hoc.
Like,
yeah.
So you
So this is like if you want to go through a router instead,
Yeah.
you can.
and it sounds like this only works in the lobby, not in the actual match. Right now, but yeah,
weird.
multiple people have confirmed that the hardware and the tech are in place in this game to plug a freaking headset into the Switch and talk to each other through that.
Yeah, if you have like a set of headphones that have a mic on them.
Yeah, which is the exact ideal scenario that you would want for this thing to function.
What the fucking
Yep.
fuck?
And they just
Primarily
don't.
for like esports kind of scenarios,
Yeah.
or I wonder if it's just like the codec or whatever they're using is like not well optimized for like
There
for
are
Wi-Fi.
so many
I can't verify.
well-optimized codecs. Like,
Yeah,
on
I
top
know,
of that,
but
on
it's
top of that,
Nintendo,
on top of that, I can't vouch for this info. But for somebody who seemed like they knew what they were talking about, in the GAF thread specifically said the SoC they're using in the Switch has an audio decoding block in it that handles VoIP codecs quite well.
So it's just
Really? Okay.
them starting to work on this and Nintendo coming to them and saying, hey, we're going to release this thing. You can't have this in your game. Or
Yeah,
no,
possibly.
well, I don't know. It would probably be a case of like, well, if you're on a LAN, you might not be connected to the internet.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you
Okay.
might not be able to use the mobile app for chat.
Yeah.
So as a backup, they've got the thing you actually want.
Also
to
in
begin
a
with.
also in a tournament setting, they're going to want people on a headset only being
Right.
able to hear each other and not potentially crowd noise and stuff like that. Like there are
I guess
like
yeah.
esports-y reasons they would want to
Yeah.
constrain people to voice chat if
I don't know. Nintendo thinking about esports
this
is
is-
not.
yeah, that's
I mean,
maybe
that
not
was in
super
their
plausible. but-
big reveal trailer as well. Like they had two teams.
yeah, they were
squaring
that,
off.
when
like,
they first showed off the Switch, they were showing people in a stadium.
Make no
playing
mistake,
Splatoon.
this is bad. You
Yeah.
can find ways
Yes,
to
yeah.
like why they may have like come to these bad decisions,
Yeah,
but they're still
there's
bad
no,
decisions.
yeah, it's crap. Like
And whatever. I don't know enough about the fucking hardware or the software to say that they definitely could implement it over the internet. But at the same time, boy, every other game platform sure does implement all their shit over the internet without having to use some dumb external thing.
yeah.
And a bunch of fucking extra cables and bullshit. Like, what a dumb. Yeah.
I will say I'm glad to know that it's this and not that the hardware is literally incapable of doing it.
Right.
Because then
right.
it always leaves the possibility that maybe they'll come to their senses later and let you do this kind of thing.
Oh, who can say?
I don't know. It's a bummer. Yes. For Alexander asking what our thoughts are. The thoughts are bad.
My thought is this.
Yeah. What a dumb set of.
Yeah.
What a dumb.
God damn it!
It's not a perfect solution because, like we've said, there's no headphone jack in the external controllers for that thing.
Right.
So you would still have to use it in handheld mode to even use this solution.
Yeah, but I play with
Extension cable.
all logical people play with motion controls.
well,
anyway,
where's
so
the-
it doesn't matter.
Where's the headphone port on that thing? Is it on the top?
I think it's on the top.
Okay, then you could do it while it's docked if that.
Yeah.
If you wanted to get a long cable
I don't know.
potentially.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's all dumb.
It's all dumb.
They had a chance to do this right.
It's always got to be something.
Nintendo
they
always
fucked it
has a
up.
chance to do it right.
They
Yeah.
fucked it up.
Just add it to the list.
Yeah.
SNES Classic availability. Check. Voice chat on the Switch. Check.
The
Friend codes.
The 3 NES games you're gonna get per month.
I want to say that they maybe backed away from that.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
it's more of a
There's maybe going to be more of
like an
a
open
of a-
service.
But they only announced 3 games,
Yeah.
is what
Right.
it was. So, we'll find out in the months to come.
It's relatively cheap as those things go.
Still dumb.
This
Also, as much as I like Splatoon 2, well, I wonder, if they'll be like, hey, for the first 30 days this game is out, you'll be able to play multiplayer for free. Then it's going behind the paywall, or how they'll handle it going forward. Because I feel like most online experiences on the Switch are probably things I'm going to be done with in about a month.
yeah,
We'll see.
if you play them online at all.
Yeah.
This email is signed Safe Word from the UAE.
Okay.
Let's keep it short and kinky. There's a rubber duck wearing
like
a
me.
bondage collar in the opening cutscene of Mario plus Rabbids.
Mm-hmm.
A rabbit who is brushing his teeth with a toilet brush pulls it out of his arse.
What? Jeff, can you confirm?
They say hell in that game.
Damn.
A cursory Google search shows the same bondage duck appears to heavily feature elsewhere in the game. Please discuss, especially in the context of the Mario has a gun controversy.
I don't think a spike collar necessarily has to infer bondage.
No, there are animals that wear spiked collars.
Yeah,
Makes them
exactly.
tough.
True. It's a junkyard dog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might wear a spiked collar.
Mario doesn't.
At least if I had to explain to Nintendo what this meant and why they should sign off on it for us including it in our game with Mario in it, I would say, like a bulldog wears a spiked collar. That's my whole defense.
Yep. That's what we got.
Yeah.
And then when they said, what about the hell word? I'd say rabbids.
Yeah, Mario's asexual.
Would you put this toilet
For
brush
sure.
in your mouth?
I don't think I would put any toilet brush in my mouth.
What about right out of the package? Fresh
Right out
from
of
the wrap.
package.
I mean, I would rather not. That seems unpleasant.
Yeah,
They're
like if I
very
had a
bristly.
choice
It's a
to
very
do
big,
it or not do it, I would choose not do it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Unless it was like a funny goof.
Oh,
Okay. Can you think of a kinkier game this year than Mario plus Rabbids?
Like Dream Daddy or something,
Mhm.
like House Party. Is that kinky or is that just fucked up?
Wait, the Kid and Play made a game?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and you
Cool.
can do the Kid and Play kick step while you jack off. It's pretty fucked up.
Great.
Just like real life.
Just like real life. It's the only way I can get off. So
Kink step.
John writes in from Casablanca, New Mexico. Sirius XM still has sex talk.
Oh, good.
It's a part of the XL Vivid radio on channel 415.
yeah.
You can bet that there are still horny truckers calling in to get off talking to porn stars. Just thought Jeff would like to know.
So you've sent these emails around this morning.
Yes.
And so I saw this before getting into the car.
Okay. Oh, no.
And I decided to check. So the fucked up thing about satellite radio
Please tell me the fucked up thing about this.
is that different radios get different channels. So my radio only goes up to channel 235.
Oh.
But they took so they replaced the punk station Faction with Guns N' Roses radio.
Well, they moved faction.
And then it changed. So they split Faction into Faction Talk
Really?
and Faction.
Wait, there's faction
So, like,
factions?
Jason Ellis is on his own fucking thing?
Yeah, he's on his
Good.
own separate thing.
Okay.
Fucking being shitty.
Yeah.
Whatever. And so yes, so Faction, the music station, moved up to fucking 8 fucking whatever that you can get on certain radios, but not mine. Mine only goes to
Weird.
2 something. And now it's Turbo, which is like your home for fucking Disturbed and fucking Limp Bizkit.
Down with the sickness.
Yeah, it's like fucking hard rock from the 90s and 2000s. Like they should have just called it fucking SXM butt rock.
Call it chugga, chugga, chugga,
Yeah,
chugga, chugga,
basically, it's just the fucking worst. And the idea that that's like something like this is on the rise. We need to get this lower on the dial so more people can hear it.
That's weird.
Fuck you.
Put the porn there.
Put the porn there.
What's actually happening is we're moving into the period where there is now nostalgia for that stuff.
I guess.
That was
Yeah.
almost 20 years ago.
Yeah. That's
Which is
even worse.
Worse in a way.
It's I've flipped it since it was still a preset until I finally fucking fixed the problem recently. It was also your home for Tool. Yeah, right? Tool.
I thought Home Depot was your home for Tool.
No. Sirius XM Turbo is your home for Tool.
I'm surprised Tool doesn't get its own station. You would think.
Give it another 10 years.
We're just
Right next to the Beatles and Elvis. And
They
the
do a
Grateful
big
Dead.
reunion tour. They'll do a
Bruce Springsteen station, and then you hit it one up and all Tool all the time.
Maynard
that's
seems like the kind of guy
Margaritaville.
they would give his own satellite radio show to at some
maybe.
point.
I can't name a single Tool song.
Let's not.
Yeah.
We already did this bit.
Anyway, yes. So you can also stream via a phone app, and that gets all the stations, and then 1 billion of streaming only stations, as if there is not competition for streaming audio elsewhere.
A lot of shoutcasters out there.
Yeah, so I did manage to tune in to the porn station for a little while this morning.
In the morning.
Okay. And it's if you want to
Morning
hear
Glory.
if you want to hear people, if you want to hear men call in and whack off while ladies talk about boning,
Then stay tuned to the Giant Bomb after show.
After the show today, truckers, you know what to do.
Satellite radio subject to FCC
No.
regulation? It's not.
No, it's
Okay.
it's filthy dirty.
But the classic old school version of this would be, right?
FM radio, yes, is still
I'm
public airwaves.
I'm almost surprised they were able to get away with that.
It's the same way like
Back in
HBO, cable can do things that broadcast TV can.
No, I'm talking about back in the day
Oh.
when it was on FM radio.
Oh.
Back in the before
Yeah.
that you were talking about. Not this current satellite
No.
radio.
That it was never on.
Oh.
No, it was on Playboy Channel, which was a TV. Like
it was a TV.
It was a
this was
TV
never
show.
on FM radio.
No, it was never on FM radio.
Okay.
Not in this form.
I see.
No. And I turned it on this morning, and it was a woman who was either Irish or British or something, who just kept saying, "Keep wanking it."
Oh
Keep
wow.
on wanking.
Oh, so there's no plausible deniability there about what's going on. Like they don't
No.
pretend that.
No. It is literally like the woman on the hosting the show is like, "Hurry up and finish so we can take the next call," like stuff like that.
Okay.
It is.
All right.
It is something.
What group is that in? Like, you go to rock and R&B and
Talk
it's
probably.
under talk. Okay.
Or maybe they have a separate adult thing. I don't know. It's not on a radio anymore. It's only, or not on my radio.
Right.
I don't know. Like the merger of Sirius and XM led to people having radios of different standards and different channel lineups and stuff. So there's like a bunch of different radios out. It must be a fucking pain in the ass.
It's unified now.
Yes,
I think so. I want to say
I still have. I think if you have old radios, they still work.
right.
So it
what
can
I'm
be
saying is like
unified forever.
any new radio that you
Is
buy
probably
is, yeah.
I don't know. It's a fucking mess. It's an overly expensive mess. Talking about it like this the last couple of weeks has only made me realize that I should not subscribe to this anymore.
I'm increasingly getting to that point as well. When I've got, it's kind of like the iPod-itis, when you've got 10,000 songs at your disposal. It's like, what do you listen to? I just keep flipping, and
I keep trying like Spotify playlists and stuff. People are always talking about like, oh, the playlists that are new music by art, that tailored for you. Like those those are really good. And I don't know. I've not used Spotify enough for it to figure out what I want.
It took 6 months of it. After 6 months of like just listening to artist station radios and liking and not liking stuff, they do weekly mixes, which are pretty much no songs that you've already listened to. It's like stuff you will probably like, which I usually get like 4 or 5 tracks off of per week that I do enjoy, and then daily mixes, which are like some of that, but then also music that you've already liked.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see how the algorithms do it after a while. But
they're hit or miss. But like from people who are religious
Yeah.
Spotify users, like there's always at least a couple good things.
And I mainly use Spotify so far to, I have a playlist that people can add and subtract from that I then broadcast while I was driving to E3. And so it was just all Kids Bop.
Yep.
A lot of Kids Bop. So Spotify has some very specific thoughts about music I would want to like.
That's That's what you're looking for, I'm sure.
When my account got hacked, my Spotify one, it was just like a bunch of Pitbull that was on there, like in my, and then all of a sudden, like all kinds of Pitbull songs.
It was
started
me.
Did
coming
you
up.
get hacked by Pitbull?
I think so.
No, it was
in
me.
Russia.
It was me.
Oh.
I wanted to listen to some Pitbull.
So I went through and I curated a list of like all the stuff that my hacker listens to.
I decided it was time for me to become a Pitbull fan.
You wanted to be the true Mr. Worldwide.
Yeah. I want to become him.
Dolly.
Dolly.
Gotta shave your head. Get some sunglasses.
Go to Antarctica.
Aaron writes in from Forest Park, Illinois. With Major League Players Weekend happening this week, where MLB players took the field with their nicknames printed on their jerseys, I couldn't help but think of your recent esports discussion about players using real names versus athletes using handles, American Gladiators style. Did we just see a glimpse of Jeff's vision for the future?
I saw that at a bar, we were at a pizzeria, and it was playing, and they kept calling everyone their nicknames.
Like,
and
I didn't know
like,
they even had nicknames.
Yeah.
what is this? Like, I saw that printed, like, they all had nicknames printed on their jerseys, and I was like, what the fuck is happening? So this makes a lot of sense now.
I feel like I wouldn't have known that every baseball player. I wonder how many of them had to choose one because they don't have one.
Some of them were shitty, obviously.
Like I'm the Hit Dog Junior. I'm like Fred McGriff, but
there was a guy who was like Brian Stapler, and he was like B Stape or something.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah.
That's pretty bad.
And some of them were just like the Pit Bull or the Big Dog. I'm sure there were a few creative ones, but
Yeah.
That sounds bad. Sounds like they should just use the names.
Yeah.
Also, somebody wrote in and asked when we were mashing up Carl the Fog with baseball players last week how nobody ever bothered to come up with Wade Foggs.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
That's
Yeah.
a baseball guy.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Les writes in from Northampton in the UK. At the end of the Bombcast, when Jason waves at the camera, why do I find myself waving back?
Because it's like when you sneeze, or no, when you yawn, you
It's
just,
involuntary.
You feel,
It's
yeah,
contagious.
you
See somebody
feel
else do it.
compelled to. Yeah, it's a sympathy thing.
All right, well there you go.
Also,
There you
Jason sees you waving back.
Yes.
And I'm waving directly to you.
Yes.
No, you. Also you.
That's how you register for our weekly giveaway is waving at the camera.
Right.
We use the hand recognition technology.
That's
That's,
the first
that's
step
how
of
you
the-
wake up to connect and how you enter. That's
Yes.
the whole thing.
Yes.
The first screening process of the job application.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also from Les in Northampton, the UK, like the coveted twofer
All right.
email, and they were like spread out
Double
too.
duty!
They were not in the same email, and they weren't even like one right after the other. It
Whoa.
was
Yeah.
like elsewhere in
Had a
the
separate idea. Like, wait a minute.
elsewhere in the inbox, and only after I had pulled both of the emails did I realize it was the same person. I want to know what Brad hallucinated when he woke up.
Mm.
It was the hair of a lady, but nothing else. So it was like, but I
Yeah.
but what I mean is, it was as if it was
Like a
on
sexy
her head.
wig?
It was basically a wig. It was as
Okay.
if this
Floating
like,
wig.
like a lady with long hair. Her head was floating through the air, except there was no head there. It was just the hair. It's fucking really weird.
Maybe it was an invisible person wearing a wig that was not
Ooh.
invisible.
Entirely possible. Very possible.
Also, the person would have to be naked, I guess.
That's right. That's how that works. Corey. Jeff said he has been watching Japanese wrestling, and I was wondering if he had seen Ring of Honor. Like him, I find WWE to be pure garbage, minus AJ Styles and Bobby
Rudick.
Roode.
Bobby Roode. Yeah.
Bobby Roode. Okay, I was wondering if that was like misspelled Rhodes, but no. Bobby Roode. So I started looking elsewhere a long time ago and was told to watch Ring of Honor.
Mhm.
It's free in the Fight Network app. It's great.
Hmm.
Any idea?
I've checked in on it here and there over the years,
Yeah.
and never really stuck with it.
Is that a different league?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
It's a different company, a different promotion.
Separate
yeah.
from, what is it?
Like cross-pollinate, like quite a bit.
New Japan?
They'll
Is
bring
that
in
the
people.
name
from
of it?
They have
Is that the big
a
one?
Ring of Honor is not in Japan. They're here.
Oh.
They're based in the U.S. So they actually do have a working relationship with New Japan.
Oh, I see.
I think so.
Oh, the way he phrased that made it sound like it was a Japanese thing.
Yeah, but either way, like, some of the people will wrestle around a lot of the different smaller organizations. So
Okay.
they'll cruise through Ring of Honor for a while. They'll go to New Japan for a while. They'll kind of make their way around. Yeah, no, I have not watched a lot of Ring of Honor. So when the last NXT thing happened and Adam Cole, I think he was last seen in Ring of Honor, showed up, I was like, I don't even know who the fuck this dude is.
But the place blew up.
or the two guys that are with him. Bobby Fish is a good name for a wrestler. I've thought that for a long time, and now seeing him and his mustache, into it.
Yeah.
A lot of the alternative stuff is good. Yeah, New Japan, of course.
Yeah, I've been making my way through the G1 Climax, which is
fucking awesome, right?
it's a lot, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of wrestling.
It's like fucking like 20 installments. They did 20 nights, and it's like 3.5 hours a night.
Oh,
Yep.
And the English commentary is some of the most fucking atrocious. I'm like,
I flip back and forth.
I should just stick to the Japanese stuff.
Yeah,
Because they only did English for the first handful and the last handful, like the last 4 and first 4 or something like that.
Also, Lucha Underground is pretty good because they'll have those goofy bits as well.
Yeah, I
That
fell
shit's
behind on
pretty
Lucha
good.
Underground, and
I love goofy wrestling bits.
Yep.
yeah,
The one of like the guy hypnotizing everyone to do the worm.
yep,
Classic.
yeah. That was fun to do.
But I'm at the point where I can't stomach WWE stuff.
I've been watching more of it lately.
Is it getting better?
No,
no?
but
Okay.
it's
Then why?
because it's on.
I know.
Because I'm in front of a computer anyway,
Yeah,
and
I get that.
I can watch the USA app or whatever
Mhm.
while I'm doing other stuff, and so you kind of look over at it and just go, ugh.
Yep.
The same reason anyone watches anything they fucking complain about, because at some point that's the relationship people have with it.
Mhm.
Same reason comic book fans hate comic books.
True.
I keep
I'm with you.
watching wrestling.
I get that, but
I
was able to break away.
No, I don't know.
I'm proud of myself.
They streamed a big Mexican wrestling event on Twitch over the weekend.
Yeah, I gotta check that out.
Which is interesting. Also, apparently, one of the women wrestling there at some point decided that she was going to actually hurt the person she was wrestling.
Oh boy.
Like fucking went for it, shot on her,
Yeah.
and I don't think she did any permanent damage, but it was like had her in an arm bar and like dislocated her arm.
Holy
or
shit.
something.
Yikes.
And so there's been over the weekend like seeing all these other wrestlers being like this whole thing is based on trust. If someone violates that trust, they can't be in this fucking business. Fuck you.
Yep.
Like being very like fuck this. Like and she had an appearance canceled and all this other stuff. Like it's drama.
Tough thing to come back
drama.
from. Jeez, that's intense.
And she was in Lucha Underground. Sexy Star.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Apparently decided that she didn't like this other woman.
Wow,
and
okay.
Went fucking,
Oh, it was like obviously intentional.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
Went into business for herself, they say.
I see.
Uh,
Good luck with that.
Right.
Toby from England. Please put some sense into my girlfriend's head and let her know that, of course, Americans have butter in their sandwiches just like everyone else.
Ugh.
You may have chosen to separate yourselves from our glorious empire, but you are not savages. Not
I can't think of
No?
many instances.
Breakfast sandwiches.
maybe.
I
Not
will.
even
I
really
will.
then.
I'll team it up with peanut butter, like in a PB&J.
Butter and peanut butter?
Butter
Yes.
what?
Yeah, it makes it creamier. It tastes
That sounds-
great.
I don't
That
need
sounds
it.
insane.
I don't
Give
need
it. Give it a shot.
Plenty of
Butter.
fat.
I don't want butter on meat ever.
No,
I don't want butter on meat.
Some,
On steak.
some butter on
sometimes.
steak.
I don't want
definitely
butter
go
on a steak.
Long way.
But like a lunch meat kind
Actually-
of situation, I could. I
No,
know.
like a sub
butter,
sandwich.
butter, butter. When you're searing the steak,
I was
is actually the
buying.
best
I
way
bought
to
a
go.
prepackaged sandwich a couple of weeks ago from a place, and it was like a ham sandwich, and it said on it, and I knew going in what I was getting, but I bought it anyway. It said ham and Swiss and butter,
That's weird.
and I was like, all right, I guess I'll check this out. And no, man,
Well,
but,
like
weird.
ham,
Don't
strange
need it.
butter, and brie is a combo that like I can get down with.
I just butter has
cheese,
no
though.
place
I don't even
on
need butter and cheese.
on a
yeah.
meat.
Like a butter and another fat, I don't really need.
Well, I mean, you like the butter's kind of melty, ideally, and it's
Yeah, I
just more
guess.
of like a flavor for the bread.
Sure.
I'll put butter on a breakfast sandwich, like a little bit of butter with my egg and
I feel
meat,
like that's the one case,
but yeah.
Maybe.
but I wouldn't
mean, I-
want
I-
it, but I can understand why someone might.
Yeah.
Much like cooking a steak, I'll use butter on the outside of a grilled cheese because you need something there to brown.
mayo.
But yeah, I have started using mayo, which brings me to my point, which is if I'm going to put fat on a sandwich, it's going to be mayo
Here's
and not butter.
Here's the next level.
Yeah.
You mayo up your bread,
Mhm.
and then you sprinkle on some like pizza Parmesan cheese.
Okay.
Like that you get
Ooh, on the outside?
Yeah, just
Oh,
a
then it
little
gets all
bit
crusty?
on. Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, because that crusty cheese is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I could get into that.
Uh,
I'll put butter on a plain piece of toast all day long.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
not,
sure.
yeah, of
but
course.
not a sandwich.
Bread and butter is the bread and butter of food.
Mm-hmm. But no, even when I get served a steak and it's got butter on it, I'm like a little bummed out. Oh man, I can handle it. It's not like a fucking deal breaker, but I see it and just go like, who needs this?
It's not about need. It's about like
I feel like it does not make the steak taste better.
The thing I'm talking about in a skillet is you're browning the butter
Yeah,
onto
yeah,
the
yeah,
steak,
yeah.
so you can't even really tell that it's there once it comes out. But
It's
I don't
also-
really.
That makes sense. But
I
like
don't-
when
I don't
people are
really
just
go
like,
for
here's
the-
a fucking
Yeah.
plop of butter on
Yeah,
top of
I
your
never-
steak. Like what?
I never quite
reheating-
understood the steakhouse thing of like here's a cup of butter to dip your steak in.
No.
Like I never quite.
It's
got
really
that.
good for reheating steak too. Like if you have like leftover steak, a little bit of butter goes a long way.
Okay.
But no, on sandwiches,
No way.
America's not known for being unhealthy with their food. So
Yeah.
I don't know where
No,
he got
it's
that
certainly
idea.
it's
Yeah,
not.
that's-
Yeah.
No room for that type of stuff.
This came in from anonymous. I'll just say what the email says, which somebody wrote in saying that the Xbox has a system built in for determining which version of a game you get based on what platform you're on. So he says that the person is claiming that the tech is in place for them to distribute 4K asset games for Xbox One X
Gotcha. Okay.
and not make you download those giant ass games if you're on an S.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. That's
Yeah.
We were talking about that Final Fantasy file size last week, 170 gigs. Or
Oh,
whatever it is.
also, that was an error. Apparently, Square
Oh,
Enix
okay.
issued a statement after the podcast last week
It's
saying
160. Sorry.
Yeah. They did say that they don't have a final download size, and that number is an error. But I also saw people saying that thing has 8K textures in it.
Yeah.
So who knows? This email says
texture.
How else are you gonna get the sheen on Pompolo's hair?
I don't even know who that is.
It's the guy that takes the selfies, right?
I think so.
Sure, Poplio.
Yeah, Poplio.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's the best party member.
I don't want you talking shit about Poplio anymore, comparing him to Final Fantasy 15.
I mean, it's a favorable comparison.
All right.
So
okay. I'll take your word for it.
This email does say none of this seems to be mandated, so expect a shit show at launch and for developers to start taking advantage of it properly next year.
Cool.
Take that with a grain of salt, but that would be a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. But also, like, you have to wonder, okay, it can determine what system you're on.
Yeah.
So I guess, like, on a Scorpio, you want the highest res textures because even those are going to get downsampled for 1080 users. But I wonder if it'd be useful for it to know, is this hooked up to a 4K TV or not?
I don't know.
Would that matter?
Oh, in terms of which download you pull?
Yeah.
I mean, if I had an X, I would want the X version of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless. Hopefully. Did you guys put out a call for names for the call-in show last week?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That thing is yet to be named finally.
I guess,
final
yeah,
fashion?
it has not. It does.
Okay.
It continues to not have a name.
Because we got a whole bunch of emails with name suggestions.
All right.
if you
Any
wanna
good
hear
ones?
some.
I don't think I don't feel like we didn't say to email them in, did we? I don't
No.
I don't know,
Alright,
but
well,
we got
whatever.
a
Okay.
bunch.
Bringing the post show stuff into the real show. This is like this is not what we intended.
That's
People, I sweat. No,
that's just how much that show's blowing up.
That's
It's
right.
spilling out everywhere.
that's right. It's all over the place. Let's hear it.
Also,
Lane.
wait, I'll just say really quick. Make sure you're subscribed to the Giant Bomb Presents feed if you want to get that.
Oh, is that where that's
show.
going?
Yeah.
Because
When we get a handful of them under our belt, we'll probably break it out into a
Yeah.
separate feed.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's currently in the Giant Bomb Presents feed.
Is that where you put the Paul Barnett
Yes.
interview also?
Yes,
yeah,
that's up there.
pretty much anything we're doing right now that's
Yeah.
not the Bombcast or the Beastcast
Department
is
of
going
New
in that.
Business.
I mean, that's what
Yeah.
that feed is for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to start using that feed more. We got this fancy
Yeah,
studio
get
here.
get some more interviews. Get some folks in here.
Do some one-offs.
Yeah.
Lane says the name of the new show should be The After Party. That way, if you ever add a third show, you'll already know to call it the Hotel Lobby.
I think we made that joke explicitly.
Could we
on
like
the
set up
episode.
GameSpot to start? Because do they still have a show called The Lobby?
Maybe.
Yes,
Probably.
they
Yeah,
do.
you guys
Yes.
have a show called The Lobby?
Do they still? If they
Yes, they do.
okay,
Okay.
then maybe we could put together a fucking rock block of have them start the show
Yeah.
after us. And
Let's see. Christopher says to call it Dead Air. Which doesn't sound very flattering.
wasn't that the name of the GameSpot horror podcast?
That sounds right.
Oh, yeah, it totally was.
Yeah.
Neil suggests the Bombcast callback. Kelly suggests the Super Bomb Power Show. David from Garden Grove suggests auxiliary input, which I think is not bad.
That's not bad.
That's too highfalutin.
It is.
That
It is.
sounds.
It's a little bit regal,
Yeah.
but I think it's pretty clever.
It's a good name for
It's a
something.
good name for
It's-
something.
it's
That's a great
clever.
name for something.
It's clever for sure.
I'm still gonna stick with Giant Bombcast Aftermath.
Okay, that works.
I'm still gonna stick with Hot Topics.
All right.
The name is somewhere in between.
Let's see.
As with all things, the truth is really in the middle somewhere. Am I right?
The call-in show is whatever you want to call it in your heart.
Yeah.
How about
And we should mention we're going to be doing that today.
That's right.
Yeah.
So stay
If
tuned.
you're watching live, hang out
shortly
Yeah.
after? Call in. Rap.
Yeah.
How many? Let's do like 2 more emails.
It's not a tumor.
Let's see.
Out. Mm-mm.
I don't feel so good.
Okay.
Post show canceled.
Yeah. Gilbert writes in from Orlando. A while back, Jeff mentioned Milky, aka Milkman. I forget the context, but this brought back a flood of memories of posting on EGM's message boards in the
James
early...
Milky. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what are you even
Yeah.
talking
Trying to
about? Like,
remember.
okay.
I could have inserted that in there to clear
Yes.
that up. Yeah, posting on EGM's message boards back in the 2000s. The second most popular board on the site was Bubbleman's board of evil robot stuff. It was my first taste of internet trolling. There was always some sort of flame war going on between Bubbleman's and the EGM board. At one point, Milky got involved, posting on Bubbleman's and getting flamed. I know all this sounds vague, but I'm pretty sure there were some repercussions from all this. Do you remember this happening? And also, over the years, do you recall any other editors, reviewers, or journalists feeding trolls with real-world consequences?
I don't know anything about the one-up message board drama.
Yes,
Sorry,
that's a pretty one-off thing.
that's
But
no,
I mostly included this because like the GameSpot solution was to quarantine all that shit.
yeah, that was
we literally created a forum to contain all that bullshit.
and it seemed like the right move at the time, but probably it festered into something that it shouldn't have been allowed to fester into.
Yeah.
And I think like
It was called, in our case, it was called System Wars.
Yeah, and we decided that we wanted to like quarantine all these idiots off into their own land where they could like bicker about like which console was better and all this other stupid shit.
Yeah.
And it spilled, like they eventually, because they would get banned from there for being jackoffs.
Yeah.
And then so they eventually went and registered their, as all good offshoot communities do, they go try to start their own message boards.
Yes.
And I don't know how that went, but
Quarantining your shitty forum users and then having them and like suffering the spiraling social consequences of that. Let's say maybe not a great idea.
probably should have just banned them
to
to begin with, and says like, we just don't want this shit here.
Yeah.
Like it's just dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. It was always sad, and it was at a point where it eventually like reached a size or whatever that it was just like, well, like it's too late to change course on this, like, or whatever. Also, it was not my job to run the message board, so yeah, I don't know. It was lame. You'd always look in it and just go like, what are you fucking what?
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, no, I don't.
We made a point of mostly
we
staying
did not,
out of there.
Yeah, that was James Milky was at GameSpot for a short period of time, and then moved on to a different company. So stuff that was happening over on that company's message boards, like I didn't
expect any of us would know anything about that specific incident.
So that was not.
But just that we had a similar experience with dumb forum behavior, which continues to this day.
It does.
All right. Last email comes in from the Podbean team. That was harder than it should have been. Great news! You have comments on your podcast in the Podbean app.
Yay.
Oh.
Podbean is a popular podcast player for Android and iPhone. Listeners can interact and leave blah, blah, blah. Let's just skip to the comment.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Giant Bombcast Game of the Year 2008 edition. I personally think Fallout 3 was the worst game of the year.
Really makes you think.
Yeah. Well, thanks to Podbean for building comment threads on other people's podcasts
from 9-year-old.
That's a cool thing to do.
From 9-year-old podcasts that somehow end up in the email address for this podcast.
I'm familiar with Podbean.
Okay. I have no idea how we got hooked up with this.
I think it's just everything anything with a public RSS feed is in that app, and
Yeah.
they probably just create comments around it. That seems shitty.
Also, Fallout 3 is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite video games.
It's definitely not the worst game of 2008.
Yeah.
All right, bombcast@giantbomb.com.
We should say memberships, Giant Bomb memberships are on sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're looking to sign up for a premium subscription, which means you could be listening to this podcast, you'd be watching this podcast live.
Yeah.
Seeing all the secret hand signals we're sending out.
That's right.
And then you could call into the show right after this.
You too can develop opinion about who hates who by watching it instead of listening.
Yep.
And yeah,
It's all of that.
so you can't say it because then it's audio.
You can't just ruin the. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course we do rolled out 7-day free trials.
Yes.
So you can sign up, check it out.
Yep.
And then get a sale price at the end of it if you're into that.
Yeah.
Or gift
Or gift us.
Yeah, there's new gift code
all
stuff.
kinds of
There's-
options.
The business is
booming.
The business is developing.
Yes. Business development.
Yeah, it happens. You guys are going to PAX, or you'll hopefully be at PAX.
Fuck man, yeah, I fucking hope so. Shit.
hopefully I'm there
But yeah,
too.
what are the plans? Do you guys want
At PAX,
We
I
have
don't
a-
know. Yeah, we got a panel.
Giant Bomb. Here's
to panel? Is
I
it?
am currently scheduled to be on a lot of panels.
Oh, that's right.
Somebody made a thread somewhere I
Okay.
saw that compiled them.
Details on the forums. I know our panel is on Sunday night, but I don't know the
Yes.
timing. I'm
Yeah,
trying to
so it
find
is.
that.
If you are at PAX, the Giant Bomb panel is Sunday night, 8 p.m.
8 p.m.
Sasquatch Theater.
Is that streamed or no?
No.
No.
No streaming.
My
stream
understanding
this
is that room is not a streaming room. So we will film the panel and
Mhm.
bring it back.
You know what my favorite streaming room is?
What's that?
The bathroom.
Yep.
Man.
I get to be a setup man for that, where I know exactly what you're going to say.
I'm very happy that you said the word what so I could finish my joke.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Yeah. If you're at PAX, come out and see.
Yeah,
People-
we'll be around.
Yeah. People will be afoot.
I have something for people coming to the live show. Not everyone, but you might get a little special something if
Yeah.
you're coming to the live show.
Yeah. Cool.
Line up early.
A sock in the mouth.
That's
right. No, what do you
No,
get?
You
everybody
tell
gets
me
one
your
of those.
username. I go through your comment history. If you ever
That's
said
right.
anything mean about me, oh boy.
Don't you even think about. Yeah. Yeah. So you guys will be at PAX, and you will also be doing a show right after this. If you're watching
Yes.
the live feed,
Yep.
stick
The after show
around.
begins now. Not right now.
Hop on
right.
Discord.
Like 10 minutes. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's end this podcast so you can do another podcast.
Woo!
Thanks for listening.
Hour 4.